All right. Turn it over to our clerk.
Thank you, Chairwoman Vargas. We'll now turn it over to County Council to report out the actions taken in the board's special meeting this morning at 8 a.m.
Thank you. The Board of Supervisors met in their special meeting for closed session today, October 22nd, 2024, starting at 8:12 a.m. and ending at 8:31 a.m. Supervisors Anderson, Montgomery, Stepp, and Desmond were present. Supervisors Vargas and Lawson Rima were absent. There are no reportable actions. That concludes the report.
Thank you. And with that, the special meeting this morning at 8 a.m. on October 22nd, 2024 is adjourned. Now I'll turn it to you to begin the regular meeting.
Thank you. Good morning. We'll now call the order the October 22nd. I'll do it again just for purposes. San Diego County Board of Supervisors regular meeting in Fire Protection District 1. We would like to take a moment to acknowledge the land we call home. There are communities in the San Diego region that face unjust conditions and circumstances related to the environments in which they live. The tribal nations of the San Diego region are an example of the one community that has historically faced such injustices. We acknowledge the harmony that existed between the land, nature, and its original peoples who have since endured displacement, persecution, and systemic oppression. We pay our respects to the unceded territory and homelands of the 18 tribal nations in our region, the most in any county in the United States, from 4 cultural groups, the Kumia, the Guiño, Luiseño, the Cupeño, and the Cahuilla. We aspire to learn from indigenous tradition, knowledge, and experience in undoing the injustices of the past. I'm going to turn it over to our clerk for a roll call.
Thank you, Chairwoman Vargas. Supervisor Anderson. Supervisor Montgomery Stepp.
Here.
Supervisor Desmond. Here. Vice Chair Lawson Reamer.
Here.
Chairwoman Vargas.
Here. Yes, with that, we'll proceed with the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance. The invocation will be delivered by Reverend Susan Brown Snook, and following the invocation, the Pledge of Allegiance will be delivered by Bobby and Ellie Brownies from Girl Scouts Troop 5400. Please stand for the invocation and the
Hello, I'm Susan Brown Snook. I'm the Bishop of the Episcopal Diocese of San Diego. It is an honor to be here with you today. Let us pray. Gracious and loving God, we pray in thanksgiving for the beautiful place we live, for the oceans, the beaches, the mountains, the deserts, and the farmland of our beloved San Diego County. For the beauty and wonder of creation in earth and sky and sea, we thank you. Help us guard the resources you give us for the benefit of future generations. For this Board of Supervisors, for their willingness to devote themselves to the important work of governance in our county, we are grateful. Grant them wisdom to make decisions in accordance with your will and in the best interest of the people and places of San Diego County. Help them do what is necessary to provide the best quality of life for all who live here, addressing the challenges of homelessness, affordable housing, poverty, inequality, health, safety, environmental quality, and all the other issues that are before us in this beautiful place where we live. Guard our county against natural disasters and give us the strength and will to strengthen all who suffer and may need our care. In this election season, we thank you for candidates who are willing to offer themselves for your service and the service of our government. We pray that you may give them the insight to truly and fairly share their visions with voters so that people may make wise and informed choices for the benefit of our land. Guide the people of this county and this nation in the election of supervisors, officials, and representatives, that by faithful administration and wise laws, the rights of all may be protected and our county and our nation may be enabled to fulfill your purposes. Heal the divisions that afflict our nation, so that after this election, we may come together in a new kind of peace and unity. Guide the wide diversity of people who make their homes in San Diego County to live in peace and prosperity, so all people in this beautiful place may thrive, and so generations yet to come may live full and enriching lives with justice and equality. We pray for this meeting today, that our elected officials may always make wise decisions to guard and guide San Diego County for the benefit of all people. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yes. Please give him a big round of applause for doing such a great job. Yeah. We're now going to go ahead and proceed with proclamation. All right. We're going to proceed with proclamations. I'll be presenting the first proclamation honoring LGBTQI History Month, and accepting the proclamation will be Nicole Murray Ramirez and Carolina Alcocer Ramos. Can you join us? Okay, come on up here. How are you?
How are you?
It is an honor to celebrate LGBTQIA plus History Month with all of you today. As proud ally and committed to uplifting the stories, voices, and experiences of the LGBTQI community throughout San Diego County, October is a time to honor the strength and resilience of the LGBTQI plus individuals who have fought tirelessly for equality, visibility, and justice. From National Coming Out Day to Spirit Day, we recognize the courage it takes to live authentically and proudly. Today, we pay tribute to the extraordinary work of leaders like Nicole Murray Ramirez, a trailblazer for over 45 years who has championed LGBTQIA plus and Latino rights, co-founder of the San Diego Pride and founder of the San Diego AIDS Memorial. Nicole's efforts, I'm going to ask anyone who wants to have side conversations to please go ahead and do that outside. I want to be respectful of our honorees today, okay? As a co-founder of San Diego Pride and the founder of the San Diego AIDS Memorial, Nicole's efforts remind us of the power of community and activism. Nicole is a lifelong Latino and LGBTQ activist and advocate and longtime city commissioner, and is the Queen Mother of the International Imperial Court of the Americas. Nicole has been involved in almost every Pride event since the mid-1970s, emceeing parades, speaking at rallies, and writing as an honoree. In the 1970s, Nicole vocally opposed anti-LGBTQ figures Anita Bryant and John Briggs, crediting their actions with uplifting a previously divided gay and lesbian community. During the 80s AIDS crisis, Nicole led a pivotal protest in 1987, rallying 3,000 people to march to San Diego City Hall to demand funding for HIV and AIDS programs, making a powerful movement in local LGBTQA+ activism. Nicole has been honored in numerous Pride parades and was awarded a Lifetime Achievement Award in 1990 for his long-standing contributions to the community, but I wanted to make sure we acknowledge him today. We also honor Carolina Alcocer Ramos, whose decades of advocacy have supported LGBTQIA+ individuals, immigrants, and those impacted by HIV and AIDS. Carolina's unwavering commitment to education, community programs, and support services reflect the best of what our county stands for. Currently, Carolina serves as the Director of Training and Chief Diversity Officer at the SDG-LGBTQ Community Center, while also advising on the Sheriff's LGBT Advisory Council and San Diego Mayor's LGBTQ Advisory Committee. She has held various roles as Regional Director of Bienestar Human Services, Domestic Violence Advocates for Palomar Health System, and also founded Moms and Me and Dads Too in 1991 to support children of gay and lesbian parents, and served on the San Diego Unified School District's LGBT education. The work of Nicole and Caroline shows us that comes from compassion and action and tireless dedication that has strengthened our communities, helping create a more inclusive, understanding, and equitable place for everyone. As we declare October as LGBTQIA+ History Month, let's recommit ourselves to building a San Diego where everyone feels seen, valued, and celebrated. Together, we will continue honoring our LGBTQ+A leaders and their legacies, ensuring that they inspire future generations to lead with courage and pride. Felicidades.
Good morning, buenos dias. I would sincerely like to thank Chair Vargas and the board for recognizing National LGBT History Month. As I've always said, a community that does not know where it comes from or whose shoulders it stands on does not really know where it's going. Having lived in San Diego for over 55 years, I have been blessed to witness the growth and visibility of the two communities that I love, the LGBTQ and the Latino communities. My Stonewall generation of the 1960s and 70s lived in some difficult times, for until 1976 in California, LGBT people could be and were sentenced at a stroke of a pen by a judge or your parents to mental state hospitals, subjected to electric shock treatment and lobotomies just because they were gay. Many of my friends never returned the same. I've had the privilege of advising and serving the last 8 mayors of San Diego and many county supervisors. The rich diversity of our county is growing each year, and I'm very appreciative of the growing appointments to boards and commissions by this board from the people of color and LGBT communities. But sadly, the rise of hate crimes in our region are at all-time high, especially targeting the Black, Jewish, and LGBT communities. This is why these community recognitions are important, including the simple act of lighting this building in different symbolic colors. Thank you very much.
I want to make sure that I do the best part of the proclamation, which I failed to read it, which is, as we declared October LGBTQ History Month, be it proclaimed by Chairwoman Nora Vargas and all members of the San Diego County Board of Supervisors on this 22nd day of October 2024, that they commend the LGBTQI+ community for its significant impact on their history, culture, and progress in San Diego County, and do here declare this moment to be LGBTQIA+ History Month throughout San Diego County. So, felicidades. The next proclamation, I have the honor of presenting it with Vice Chair Tara Lawson-Remer. And as we support today, let me see. Okay. The next part, so the Center for Latinx Services for 20 years of service. I'm going to ask who's coming up here? Cara and Gloria and the team. Yay. Please join us. Buenos días.
Buenos días.
How are you? How are you? This is a very special recognition. The center is one of the, I think, the pride and joys of San Diego County, and today, for us, for me, it's an honor to be able to highlight them. I often say that as the first Latina immigrant female to serve on the San Diego County Board of Supervisors, it is really critical and important to recognize particular communities that for so long have not been seen. And I'm so proud to be a long-standing partner of the San Diego LGBT Community Center. I got to work alongside them and the organization before I became a supervisor, and I wanted to highlight this today because I want to make sure that no one ever forgets how much representation matters, and I want to say thank you to Cara for everything that she's done for the center. Particularly, I loved being her partner in opening up when she had this wonderful idea of opening up a youth center in the South Bay to help support and uplift our LGBTQ youth, especially those in South Bay. It's been amazing. It's been amazing for me to see the life-changing work that the center has done for underserved youth, but particularly with now that they have the new Latinx service centers, they have been able to expand services, create safe, welcoming, culturally and linguistically appropriate space for a range of services for the Latino LGBTQ community. It doesn't mean that they weren't doing the work before. It just means that now they have a very special designation to be able to make sure that they're highlighting. So honoring organizations like Latinx Services is deeply meaningful to me and to the constituents that I serve in District 1. These services are essential because they provide culturally, linguistic, spiritual, and identity safe spaces that are nurturing, and they really focus on the rich tapestry of our diverse communities. Latinx Services provide vital resources that transform lives across the county, including educational workshops, health resources, and advocacy efforts that empower individuals and families to thrive. Our communities deserve to exist in a world that amplifies marginalized voices, addresses disparities, and creates pathways for success, making it a transformative impact on countless lives. So I'm going to turn it over to the Vice Chair so she can say a couple words.
Thank you, Chairwoman Vargas. Today, we are here to celebrate an important milestone, the 20th anniversary of Latinx Services at the San Diego LGBT Community Center. Established in 2004, this program was the first of its kind in the nation, providing crucial support for the Latinx LGBTQ+ community. Latinx Services has created a safe and welcoming space where people can embrace their culture, traditions, language, spirituality, sexual orientation, and gender identity. This support has empowered so many individuals and families, helping us all to thrive in all areas of our lives. The impact of Latinx Services reaches far beyond its programs. Through educational workshops, health resources, and advocacy, it has given community members the tools needed to succeed. It has built a strong sense of community, celebrating diversity, and honoring the rich heritage of our Latinx community. The hard work of the staff and volunteers has been truly inspiring. They have dedicated themselves to uplifting marginalized voices, addressing challenges, and creating opportunities for success. Their efforts have made a real difference in many lives and have raised awareness about the unique issues faced by the Latinx community. So, as we look back on 20 years of service, this anniversary is a reminder of the center's commitment to fairness, empowerment, and the advancement of all people. We look forward to many more years of support, advocacy, and celebration. So here's to Latinx Services. May its important work continue to grow, inspire future generations. Chairwoman, would you like to? Okay. So be it proclaimed by Chairwoman Nora Vargas and all members of the San Diego County Board of Supervisors on this 22nd day of October 2024 that they commend the Latinx services for their outstanding service, leadership, and commitment to the citizens of San Diego County, and do hereby declare this day to be Latinx Services Day throughout San Diego County.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Cara Desert. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and it's my honor to be the CEO of your San Diego LGBT Community Center. This month, we celebrate LGBTQ History Month. We also celebrate an incredible milestone in our San Diego history, the 20th anniversary of Latino Services, the first program of its kind in the nation to serve our LGBTQ+, Latino, Latina, Latinx, Latinx community, whatever word you prefer, Latino Services is here for you. We have created safe and affirming spaces where our LGBTQ+ Latino X folks can bring every part of themselves, from Spanish language and spirituality, sexual orientation, gender identity, and our unique families. For 20 years, this program has welcomed and served the whole family, bridging intergenerational gaps to support parents, children, grandparents, and our chosen families. The center is one of the largest LGBTQ organizations in the country, and it is the largest LGBTQ organization on our border. Latino Services has been at the forefront of critical service delivery in our binational community, and our proximity to the U.S.-Mexico border makes these services so important. When this groundbreaking program began, we had only 2 folks who were Spanish speakers at the center. Today, because of our commitment to this community, 40% of center staff identify as Latinoaxe, and 1/3 are Spanish speakers. Thanks to the leadership of so many, including Nicole Marie Ramirez and Carolina Ramos, who are here with us today, we have come a long way in 20 years, folks. I want to celebrate Nicole and Carolina, and thank you so much, Supervisors Vargas and Tara Lawson-Remer, for acknowledging their leadership. We are in the presence of 2 living legends, folks. These are icons and champions for our LGBTQ+ community. Congratulations on this well-deserved honor, and thank you both for your incredible leadership. I want to thank Chair Nora Vargas, the first Latina supervisor and first Latina chair of the Board of Supervisors. I also want to thank Vice Chair Tara Lawson-Remer, the first out LGBTQ supervisor. We all know in this room that representation matters, folks, and we are here because we are inspired by our Board of Supervisors today. Thank you, Chair Vargas. Thank you, Vice Chair Lawson-Remer. At the center, we create a home where everyone can belong, where our families, our stories, our struggles, and our successes are honored and celebrated. I look forward to working with everyone in our region to continue this incredible legacy, the legacy of Latino services for generations to come. Mil gracias.
Last one. Smile, everybody, one. Thank you.
1, 2.
All right, the next proclamation will be given by Supervisor Anderson, honoring Disabled Veterans Exception Unit, and accepting the proclamation will be Robert Gomez.
Oh, this is awesome. Good morning, everybody. I'm honored to be here, and I want to thank Jordan Marks for being here today, too. On behalf of the San Diego County Assessor, Recorder, County Clerk's Office, I think that's the largest title we have here at the county. The Disabled Veterans Exemption Unit has long demonstrated their commitment to ensuring that San Diego County's disabled veterans receive the support and benefits they earned and deserve. Under the leadership of Jordan Marks, the Disabled Veterans Exception Unit has saved more than almost $30 million in property taxes for almost 18,000 qualified San Diego County disabled veterans and surviving spouses. The program is instrumental in honoring the service and sacrifice of the veteran community and empowering the many veterans and their families that reside here in San Diego County. I just want to say there's 58 counties in the state, and none of them have been more aggressive in making sure that every veteran is honored and they have received the benefits that they have earned. There are other counties that have serviced fewer than 5,000 people, and yet we've done so many here, and that's because long before Jordan was elected, he served in that office leading the charge on this, and we've been proactively pursuing veterans to ensure that they get the benefits that they have earned and deserve. And I just want to thank Jordan and his team for doing an incredible job, because they could like other counties and wait for those folks to find out 5-10 years from now that they missed out on a lot of money, and they struggled because they didn't and weren't apprised of the benefits that they had earned. So I look forward to seeing this program continue to flourish as we remain committed to supporting and advocating for all veterans in our community. For these reasons, I'm proud to present this proclamation honoring the Disabled Veterans Exemption Unit, and I'm going to read the last paragraph. And
You're the heads of the unit, so I'm going to have them.
oh, you know what? Come over here and hold this while I read what it says in the proclamation. You're doing such a fine job. Be it proclaimed by Chairwoman Nora Vargas and all the members of the San Diego County Board of Supervisors on this 22nd day of October 2024 that they commend the San Diego County Assessor, Recorder, County Clerk's Office, and the Disabled Veterans Exemption Unit for their outstanding service, leadership, and commitment to the veterans of San Diego County, and do hereby declare this day to be Disabled Veterans Exemption Unit Day throughout San Diego County. Somehow that just doesn't do you justice. You're doing an incredible job for our communities, and thank you for putting people first over profit. So with that, I don't know who's going to take the mic. Yeah, absolutely, Jordan.
Thank you very much.
Love to have you speak.
Thank you, Supervisor Anderson. Hello, I'm Jordan Marks, your San Diego County Assessor, Recorder, County Clerk. And as your elected advocate, my assessor office is responsible for ensuring San Diego County homeowners receive every property tax savings possible to make your home ownership more affordable. First, in advance of Veterans Day, we want to thank our veterans and their families for their service and sacrifice to our great nation. My exceptional team is grateful for the honor to serve you and your surviving spouses. Thank you for the recognition of my Disabled Veterans Property Tax Savings Team for qualifying 17,763 San Diego County, these are folks that live here, 100% VA-rated disabled veterans and their surviving spouses, yes, those are Gold Star families, for a record high property tax savings on their homes totaling $29.6 million. Really. To qualify for this property tax benefit, you must have an extreme version of PTSD. You have to have lost a limb, lost an eye, or in some cases made the ultimate sacrifice of losing your life while serving our country. These veterans and their families have given us so much, and we thrive on the opportunity to make their home ownership more affordable and help them have another opportunity to achieve home ownership and retire with dignity here in San Diego County. And quite honestly, this benefit that we have for these veterans, it does not go far enough. It's up to $1,700 a year off their property taxes, and that does not nearly justify what they've given us in their tremendous service and sacrifice. I'm dedicated to advocating that the state of California do more and honor these veterans and their families by giving them even greater property tax relief. But in earnest, our true gratitude comes by when we put these veterans first with great customer service. My team is actually recognized by these veterans, our customers, they've given them a 98.2% positive customer service rating. Those are the feedback cards that those veterans have given this unit. That's because they process their applications in 15 minutes or less. This is something that we have to overcome. Veterans won't apply for this benefit because they can't seem to want to deal with another line to get a benefit they deserve. And this team shows you what the gold standard of customer service looks like. So please, join me in applauding my Disabled Veterans Exemption team and my assessor leadership team. These is who deserves the recognition. These exemplary public servants made San Diego County proud today by becoming the #1 county assessor office in the state of California by helping the most disabled veterans and getting them the highest amount of property tax relief with that $29.6 million. I want you to hear their names because they deserve this recognition. I want to say thank you to the division chief, Robert Gomez, whose leadership not only helped lead this unit, but also he actually changed the forms that our veterans fill out statewide so that every assessor office can now know who is a disabled veteran buying a new home. So we can reach out to them and not have to try to reach them afterwards, but get them in advance and make their home ownership more affordable upfront. Thank you, Robert. Also, I'd like to recognize Cassandra Correa, our assistant division chief, Christine Davis, Paola Gomez, Sandra Robles, Regina Stewart, Diana Vasquez, and also our leadership team, my chief of staff, Tim Bonkowski, and Brooke Hill, our new chief deputy assessor of valuations. But especially want to express gratitude to our taxpayer advocate office, led by Captain Stephen Lee, a captain in the Army Reserve, who gets the extreme joy of making sure that he leads the outreach, because it's not only that we process their applications great, but we have led award-winning outreach into the community to make sure we don't miss a single veteran here in San Diego County, and it is done with key partners, the real estate community, the Pacific Southwest Association Realtors, the Veterans Association of Real Estate Professionals, and also our county partner, the Office of Military and Veteran Affairs. They have walked with us on this journey to better serve our veterans and reach this pinnacle goal of 17,000 veterans, $29.6 million. There's more to come. Thank you, Madam Chair Vargas and the Board of Supervisors for this recognition. In particular, Supervisor Joel Anderson, a champion for our veterans, for recognizing the hard work and great service of the entire Assessor Recorder County Clerk team and these amazing public servants in the Disabled Veterans Exemption team. And lastly, in order to honor today and in advance of Veterans Day, our team wanted to do more. So my taxpayer advocate office is actually hosting a resource fair here down at the CAC, our downtown office, 1600 Pacific Highway, from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. We invite you to come, say thank you to the veterans downstairs afterwards, appreciate their service, and let's ask what more we can do to serve our veterans and their community. Thank you. It is truly our honor to serve you.
Great work.
The next proclamation will be given by Vice Chair Lawson Meeman, honoring Mary Coakley Monk, who is here with us today to accept this honor.
Come up, come up. Hi, Mary, how are you? So today, it is with great pleasure that I honor a District 3 superstar, Miss Mary Monk. Mary is an incredible force for positive change in La Jolla and beyond. Since moving to La Jolla Shores in 2000, she's worked tirelessly to improve our local parks, making them beautiful and accessible to everyone. Her deep commitment to the community is evident through her involvement in various city and community boards, including the Friends of La Jolla Shores, which she founded. Mary has led many exciting projects, such as the Junior Lifeguard Playground and the stunning Litho Mosaic, both of which combine arts and education while raising awareness about the ocean. She has not only secured funding, but also partnered with amazing artists and scientists to strengthen our community's connection to nature. As a current president and co-founder of the Walter Monk Foundation for the Oceans, created to honor her late husband's legacy, she continues to focus on ocean conservation and education. By organizing field trips for underserved students and community events, Mary inspires the next generation to care for our environment. Protecting our environment has never been more important. Today, we face numerous challenges, from climate change to habitat loss. Mary's work emphasizes the need for sustainable practices and conservation efforts to ensure our natural resources are preserved for future generations. By fostering a sense of responsibility toward our planet, she encourages all of us to be better stewards of our Earth. Her many awards, including the Weiland Foundation's Local Ambassador for the Planet Award, reflect her dedication and the positive impact she has made. Mary's legacy is one of inspiration, community spirit, and a strong commitment to caring for our planet, making her a true champion for La Jolla, for District 3, and for all of San Diego County. So, be it proclaimed by all members of the San Diego County Board of Supervisors on this 22nd day of October 2024 that we commend Mary Monk for their outstanding service, leadership, and commitment to the citizens of San Diego County, and do hereby declare this day to be Mary Coakley Monk Day throughout San Diego County. Thank you.
A huge thank you to Chair Vegas, a huge thank you to Chair Vargas and each current and previous member of the Board of Supervisors for this proclamation and for your support over the past 24 years, with a special thank you to Tara and her fantastic staff. With your help, we've been able to continue Walter Monk 80-year iconic legacy by building the Walter Monk Educational Plaza in Kellogg Park that combines science and art for all San Diegans and our 3 to 4 million visitors to enjoy each year. Bring your family, learn about all the wonderful pieces of education that are there, and enjoy the beach. It's a place where we honor the culture and heritage of the Kumeyaay, provide field trips for students from our underserved communities, and facilitate docent and Meet Me at the Map programs to educate about our fragile environment and inspire stewardship. It's the home of the map, the world's largest lithomosaic, with illustrations of 123 life-size species who can be found just offshore. Fish ID panels with QR codes that take you to detailed descriptions in English and Spanish on our website. A 4,000-pound bronze sculpture that depicts the topography from Mount Soledad to the shoreline and the bathymetry from the shoreline to beyond the merger of the La Jolla and Scripps Canyons. The story of JJ, the orphan baby gray whale rescued, rehabilitated, and released by SeaWorld. I don't know how many of you remember her, but we have a beautiful bronze sculpture in the playground. In addition, your support for our Free for Everyone Walter Monk Day Celebrate Our Oceans event that provided a venue for Kumeyaay Way, where Dr. Stan Rodriguez built Thule boats with the community, followed by a ceremonial launch. And Ocean Alley that included 58 amazing exhibitors with interactive educational activities for the family, 150 volunteers, 2,000 visitors. The backpacks contain educational items distributed at the event. I accept this wonderful award on behalf of Walter Monk and every team member who worked with me over the past 24 years. Thank you. It's truly an honor.
All right, the next proclamation will be given by Supervisor Montgomery Stepp honoring San Diego County Capital Asset Leasing. Accepting the proclamation will be Michael Anderson, Shirley Nakawatsai, and Michelle Light, or Michael Light, I'm sorry. Michelle Light, sorry. How are you, sir?
All right, good morning, everyone. It's truly a privilege as you all come up to be here today as we recognize and honor an incredible milestone for the San Diego County Capital Asset Leasing Corporation, also known as SanCal, and I'll stick with saying SanCal from here on out. For 40 years, SanCal has been a vital partner in helping to ensure that the County of San Diego can provide the high-quality services that our residents rely on. Established in 1984, SanCal was created with the goal of evaluating financing alternatives for the procurement and construction of capital facilities and equipment, allowing our county to maintain and expand its infrastructure in a cost-effective and efficient manner. Through their expertise, they have facilitated $1.7 billion in tax-exempt financing and refinancing for some of the most critical projects in our region, from the Youth Transition Campus to the Public Health Lab, the County Administration Center Waterfront Park, and many more. These projects impact every corner of our county, ensuring we have the spaces and tools necessary to serve our communities well. I want to take a moment to acknowledge the 5-member advisory body of dedicated individuals appointed by the Board of Supervisors who bring a wealth of specialized knowledge and talent to this work. Their commitment has allowed us to successfully finance projects that serve the public, benefiting the San Diego County for generations to come. It's my honor to present this proclamation commending SanCal for 40 years of outstanding service, leadership, and commitment to the people of San Diego County. And with that, I'll read the last line of the proclamation. Be it proclaimed by Chairwoman Nora Vargas and all the members of the San Diego County Board of Supervisors on this 22nd day of October 2024 that we commend the San Diego County Capital Asset Leasing Corporation for 40 years of outstanding service, leadership, and commitment to the citizens of San Diego County, and do by declare this day to be San Diego County Capital Asset Leasing Corporation Day throughout the entire county. There you go. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Supervisor. It's been a tremendous honor for me. I've been on the SanCal board for 38 years, and Supervisor Desmond, you may not believe this, but I was 5 years old when I joined the SanCal board. Speaking on behalf of Shirley Nakawatasi and the other directors, I just want to extol how much we appreciate the opportunity to serve this Board of Supervisors, previous boards of supervisors, and the citizens of San Diego County. As was mentioned by Supervisor Montgomery Stepp, we find financing. We do not set policy. The Board of Supervisors set policy, and then they turn to us to come up with the most practical financing mechanism, which ultimately saves the County of San Diego and the citizens of San Diego money over the long run. It was mentioned that we have financed the County Administration Building Waterfront Park, the East County Regional Center, the North County Regional Center, the Central Jail, the San Pasqual Academy, the James Mills Building over at MTS, and many other projects. So we stand ready to actively pursue the best financing possible ultimately for the citizens of San Diego. Lastly, I'd like to say and to thank the county staff, which makes our job at SanCal much more easy. Our Assistant Secretary, Michelle Light, Joan Bracci, who used to be our Assistant Secretary, who's now the CFO, Ebony Shelton, who's now the County CAO, the County Treasurer's Office, the Assessor's Office, has all of these individual county staff members have made our job over my 38 years of service and SanCal's 40 years of service to the county much easier. And for that, we thank you.
The next proclamation will be given by Supervisor Monica Montgomery Stepp and Supervisor Joel Anderson, honoring Young Black in Business. Accepting the proclamation will be Roosevelt Williams III.
It's all welcome. Appreciate you. Always appreciate you. Thank you for making this up. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
No.
Just come on back. Come on back. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Quite a crowd. This is awesome. Thank you. I'm excited to be here today. I want to thank Roosevelt Williams III for being here this morning on behalf of Young Black and in Business. And I want to thank my outstanding colleague, Supervisor Monica Montgomery Stepp, for co-sponsoring this proclamation. Since its founding, Young Black in Business has remained dedicated to empowering young entrepreneurs with the goal of uplifting local businesses and increasing diversity in the business sector. You know, I'm going to get off script just a little bit. I just want to say something about my good friend. You know, it's one thing to share business acumen. It's another thing to invest in people and help provide a better future. And I just want to thank you personally for all your hard work. For as long as I've been elected to this office, I've been privy to the great work you're doing in the community. Under the dedicated leadership of Roosevelt Williams III, Young Black in Business has been able to support countless young entrepreneurs by equipping them with the resources they need to build and grow successful businesses right here in San Diego County. Through their incredible work, Young Black in Business has been able to create meaningful opportunities for young professionals from all backgrounds to come together, share ideas, and foster a community of collaboration and support. Young Black in Business has shown incredible dedication to increasing diversity in the business sector, advocating for equitable opportunities, and ensuring that all voices are heard and valued in pursuit of their professional success. For these reasons, I'm proud to have co-sponsored this proclamation honoring Young Black and in Business. Now I'd like to turn it over to my great colleague, Supervisor Monica.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Supervisor Anderson. It is a great pleasure to join you, Supervisor, in recognizing the incredible work being done by Young Black and in Business. This organization is truly a cornerstone in fostering growth, connection, and success for young entrepreneurs and professionals in San Diego. YBNMB's mission is essential, providing a space where professionals can build networks, I think you got a saying about that, and uplift each other's journeys. We spend a lot of time talking about supporting our local small businesses, but I am very happy to call them a partner in the mission to get more resources and forums to elevate the businesses that shape not just our economy, but our communities. Together, we have been able to champion initiatives that provide real, lasting change for our local small businesses. You are shaping the future of Black enterprise here in San Diego, and your commitment to empowering entrepreneurs through education and community is truly inspiring. The work you do extends far beyond business success. It's about community building, creating opportunities, and driving long-term positive change. Empowering individuals to break down barriers, achieve economic success, and in turn, uplift others within the community. As someone deeply passionate about equity and opportunity, I know the challenges that Black entrepreneurs face in accessing resources and opportunities. That is why I'm extremely proud to support the work that you do. Whether through mentorship, networking, or professional development events, you've created spaces where Black excellence can thrive. Today, we celebrate all that you've accomplished and all that's still to come. And with that, it is my honor to present this proclamation as you continue paving the way for future generations.
There it is.
You got it. And I'll just read the last line. Be it proclaimed by Chairwoman Nora Vargas and all members of the San Diego County Board of Supervisors on the first day of December, I'll see y'all there, 2024, that we commend Young Black and in Business for your outstanding service, leadership, and commitment to the citizens of San Diego County, and do hereby declare that day to be Young Black and in Business Day throughout San Diego County. turn it over to the fearless leader, Roosevelt Williams III.
Thank you. I want to first thank the People's Supervisor, Monica Montgomery Stepp, for the leadership and great stewardship. I also want to thank the county's lighthouse, Mr. Joe Anderson. They say one lighthouse can guide many ships, so I want to thank you for your leadership. I also want to say, no more San Diego. This is San Diego. We're eliminating the ego and bringing back the community spirit. The unity and power is what's up here. And I started Young Black in the business because by myself, I was a thread. I was by myself. I didn't know how to get on TV. I didn't know how to put on an event. I was by myself. As you know, the entrepreneur journey is very lonely. So then I became the brand Young Black in the business, and now you can see this is a rope. So now we're each other's resources. We can pull on each other. We can call on each other. The rope is very strong. And what makes a rope even stronger? You tie knots. You start doing business with each other. And that's what it's all about, group economics, vertical integration, so that unity and power. The rope is the unity. Now let me break down power. Power is an acronym. It stands for purpose-driven. It stands for opportunity chasers, individuals that's willing to go solo, energetic relationship builders. I want to remind everyone, when you see people, you see power. The power is the people. So I want to say power to the people. I also want to remind everyone to vote with your dollars. When you vote with your dollars, that's purchasing power. And your purchasing power leads to political power. So we're all powerful because we're all purpose-driven. We're all on a mission. Don't be afraid to go by yourself. Be energetic, be excited, and most importantly, build those relationships. Look at this powerful rope. I want you all to join us. I'm done pontificating. I don't want to be too loquacious, but I will like to honor someone that is very powerful in our network, and that is Brittany Miller, our Chief Marketing Officer. I like to do everything co-ed. Ms. Brittany Miller.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming. One of the first statements I will definitely say is there's nothing more humble than a powerful woman. So, okay, so with that being said, Spachelle and Gwen, please come up here and stop sitting in the audience. Please, hurry up. Come. Adrian, come. Stand next to me. Yes. So, Young Black and in Business is a community. I wouldn't be able to do any of the work that I do without any of these powerful women that are helping support everything that we do throughout any of their endeavors. I definitely want to thank, the distinguished leaders we have, behind us. They have participated in some of the Young Black and in Business photo shoots. We put out an annual manuscript, and we become the leverage that early and emerging entrepreneurs need. So as you see the ladies beside me, as you see the businesses behind me, we are the platform making sure that you get to know who they are and how you can use their services. So thank you so much for coming out. Thank you for this day. And of course, thank you to the network.
So let's stand nice and tight in the back, but get a good photo, please.
Okay, come on, don't do me like that, girl. Don't do me like that.
And we gotta move hastily, please.
Is this okay?
We all here?
I'm next to the big guy.
Hold on. Let's try it. Okay, good. Good. One more.
Big smile. Good, thank you. I'm good.
And the last proclamation, congratulations, everyone. The last proclamation will be given by Supervisor Jim Desmond honoring Native American Heritage Month. Accepting the proclamation will be Pala Tribe Vice Chair Brandon Johnson. I'm going to give you one of those sweatshirts.
How you doing? Good to see you.
Glad you could be here. Thank you to be here. All right, we've had a lot of great groups here today being honored and have proclamations for each one of them. I'm proud to honor Native American Heritage Month for the month of November. We are not going to be having any meetings in November, so I wanted to make sure that we got this in for our Native American Heritage Month here. Everybody knows, so we're all taking a month off for November because these elections wearing us all out. So I wish everybody could do that. But so good morning. It's my honor to welcome the Vice Chairman of the Pala Tribe, Brandon Johnson. So thank you for coming down and joining us and making the drive all the way from North County. The Pala Band of Mission Indians Reservation, they reside on 12,000 acres and is home to the majority of over 900 enrolled members of the Cupeño and the Luceño Indians, which consider themselves to be one proud people, which translates to Pala. Economically, the beautiful Pala Casino, Spa, and Resort is a AAA 4-diamond award winner for 15 consecutive years. And their newly renovated golf course is now in full swing, pun intended. These revenues help support the health, welfare, and the education of their people. San Diego County, we're committed to recognizing Native Americans who are dedicated to the best ideals of public service, and the Pala Band of Mission Indians are one such worthy tribe. Be it proclaimed by the Chairman, Nora Vargas, and all the members of the San Diego County Board of Supervisors on this 22nd day of October 2024 that we commend the Pala Band of Mission Indians for their outstanding service, leadership, and commitment to the citizens of San Diego County, and do hereby proclaim November as Native American Heritage Month throughout San Diego County. Brandon, do you want to say a few words?
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yes, my name is Brandon Johnson, the Vice Chairman of Pala. I'd like to thank Supervisor Desmond for giving us this opportunity to come out and do this. Native American History Month is, to me, really huge. I've practiced our culture my whole life, and I'm glad that we can recognize it and do it this year. As far as the Pala Casino Resort goes, we are been in business for over 21 years now that we've been going, and it's been a great opportunity for us there on the reservation. Being North County, San Diego, it's been huge for us. With the acquisition of Pala Mesa Resort, we do have a golf course now, so newly renovated, so it is very good to come out. The course is great this time of year. And again, as far as the proclamation go, I'm truly honored to be here, and I'm glad I can accept it. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Brandon.
Thank you
very much. Yes. We got a picture back there.
Thank you and congratulations. We'll now proceed with non-agenda public communication. I'll turn over to our clerk of the board.
Thank you, Chairwoman Vargas. Non-agenda public communication is an opportunity for the public to address the board on subject matters within the board's jurisdiction, but not an item on today's agenda. The only action that the board may take is a referral to the Chief Administrative Officer. According to the board's rules of procedure, public speakers that are non-English speaking and need interpretation assistance will get twice the allotted time for their comments. The rules also state that audience members shall not whistle, clap, stomp feet, or anything that disrupts the proceedings. We have 23 requests to speak on matters not listed on the agenda, 7 in person and 16 requesting to speak by phone. For those that requested to speak by phone, please dial into the conference line using the instructions that were provided to you. We'll begin with the in-person speakers, and in accordance with the board's rules of procedure, we'll hear from the first 5 speakers in person. All the remaining speakers will be heard at the conclusion of today's session. As your name is called, please come forward and stand on the arrows until it is your turn to speak at the podium. You'll have 2 minutes to address the board, and I'll ask you to please begin by stating your name for the audio record. I'd like to invite forward the first 3 individuals, Dorothea Flanagan, Oliver Twist, and Mark. If I've called your name, please come forward.
Honorable Board of Supervisors, I'm Dorothea Flanagan of Gopher Canyon, 42 miles north. I'm here to request that you save the habitat and blight unwittingly set up in the San Diego County Fire Code. It's the 16-foot wide requirement for a concrete driveway. Such a requirement causes 5 unacceptable consequences, and actually there are more. Unusual and unreasonable hardship, extremely expensive. I have a 529-foot driveway with turnarounds. Too much watershed drainage of water, fast running water. I had an 11.5-foot wide driveway, and now they're talking destroying the habitat. $10,000 to $20,000 to ameliorate fast-running huge volume of water going down by an engineering company. It makes a concrete jungle of our beautiful rural areas. It makes building a house only for the very rich. I can't imagine why San Diego County's Fire Board has to make the dimensions of a driveway way wider than the state code. And I read that, and that's probably 100 pages. I don't mind now because I'm retired. The point is, you need to bring it down to the 12 feet or 14 feet and make it reasonable. That's why there isn't any building to speak of out in the county. Who could afford it but somebody like me with maybe $600,000 to play with? I don't like how it destroys the habitat. This needs to be changed.
Thank you. Your time is up. Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Thank you.
Hi, good morning. Oliver Twist here. First of all, thank you to CAO Shelton, and I do believe titles are important for those who merit and earn the respect. So CAO Shelton, thank you for proactively having your office open up a public records request. From my previous public comment about the Michael Vu mystery email, while I was disheartened to learn that privilege, I do urge you to release a redacted version. Secondly, apologies to Chair Vargas for my swing and a miss hypothesis of why the previous meeting agenda order got switched. Why I absolutely respect your right to medical privacy. A little heads up of just saying due to unforeseen circumstances might have gone well in building public trust. And while you also have a right to put your items first, I would also ask for more transparency on the agenda. So you can see on mine today, I put who is sponsoring each item, and that way when things get switched, we can see any patterns that might emerge. So do that for transparency. Lastly, please implement an attendance tracker to denote time of arrival and departure as well as missed meetings. Hold yourselves to the same standard that you hold your own employees to. And also, I'm using less time out of respect for the long meeting today. Thank you.
Thank you. As the next speaker is coming forward, I'd like to invite the remaining speakers in person, Michael Brando and Catherine Rhodes.
Mark.
Our names like Mrs. Merkel, even Vladimir Putin and so on, they all have been young global leaders of the World Economic Forum. But what we are very proud of now is the young generation, like Prime Minister Trudeau, President of Argentina and so on, that we penetrate the cabinets. So yesterday I was at a reception for Prime Minister Trudeau, and I know that half of this cabinet, or even more half of this cabinet, are actually young global leaders of the World Economic Forum.
That was Klaus Schwab of a foreign organization called the World Economic Forum, stating in this YouTube video title that he has penetrated government cabinets. I do not want anyone harmed or imprisoned, but Gavin Newsom is a young global leader for the World Economic Forum. Here's a screenshot with this quote from Microsoft Copilot. Nora Vargas, a prominent leader, participated in the UN meeting with young global leaders in September 2024, end quote. If this is true, this is aiding and abetting a foreign organization supporting global governance. And Nora Vargas should not continue in our government. With your education, I am sure you will do fine anyway, Nora. Since you cannot respond during non-agenda, I will give you a chance to correct Microsoft Copilot later if it is incorrect. And there's the screenshot. I have a few seconds left. You can see this video to hear Klaus say what I just said. And you can look up, Google words from his speech, and it'll show you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hello, Catherine Rhodes, and I'm talking about the mayor of San Diego, the race for it. I want to talk to you about what Todd Gloria is saying right now. He's saying one of his greatest accomplishments is now we have 365 days a year, year-round shelter tents for the homeless. But how it started off is we used to have winter only, and I would go up to him and say, we can do this year-round, why can't we do it? And he said, we have temporary permits. This is a temporary structure, and we have to take it down every year. So we had $1 million to take it down, $1 million to take it up, a few months of winter only, and he said we couldn't do it. So anyway, I pushed the people at the state level to come down on the city of San Diego to force them to actually do it full-time. So we started getting it full-time. And then what he did, his second day that he became mayor, he came up with a thing and said, we no longer have any funding to do it full-time. We have to go back to half-time. And then what he did is he took down the tents, put it in storage, and they became moldy, and we lost them. And Lucky Duck Foundation had to come in and save the day and give us 2 more free tents because of Todd Gloria's things. Now he's going around talking about how he's so great that we have these emergency shelters, and they're not just winter only, when he was the saboteur. So anyway, I talked to Larry Turner on Sunday, and he literally promised, just like Todd Gloria promised, not to criminalize the poor and homeless unless there's available shelter options. And he wants to comply with the fire marshal's requirements to see if we could keep places open by using like reusable filter sprinklers and having 6-inch platforms under the tent so we can keep them open. Simple, easy solutions. He also promised that he wants social workers, not the San Diego Police Department officers, to work with the homeless as his best practice. So I want everybody to vote for Larry Turner for City of San Diego Mayor. Everybody, please vote for him for the poor. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Michael.
Psychological abusers damage others, not out of impaired judgment, but because they enjoy the control they gain from abusing people. Shocking, right? It's often hard to even comprehend such human ugliness exists in the world. I assure you it does. You most likely already know it. Psychological abusers play games with their targets and know precisely what they are doing. Some will even admit they enjoy being the puppet master and keeping people off balance for their own entertainment. Others don't outwardly disclose it, but their enjoyment comes bleeding through with a casual smirk or hateful chuckle.
Those are the words by Shannon Thomas in a book called Healing Abuse. It has to do with psychological abuse, something I've talked about many times here. And I'm going to bring it up again because I hear people like Tara Lawson-Remer making a big deal out of her being non-binary and pansexual. And Nora, you always talking about gay people as if gay people all hold your views. They don't. Not all gay people think like you. In fact, they are diametrically opposed to you. And so I want to mention one thing. There was a young man here this summer, a gay Palestinian, who talked about having visited only this place one time, and he actually called out the hypocrisy of the people sitting on the dais, realizing that you're only here for your private gain. Now, that's not true to the same extent for all of you. I think Tara is the worst one of all. Believe that, Nora. She's the worst one. So you need to change. Think about it.
Thank you. We'll now hear from those that requested to speak by phone. Again, in accordance with the board's rules, we'll hear from the first 5 callers, and the remaining callers will be heard at the conclusion of today's session. When it is your turn to speak, you will be unmuted, and you will hear a recording that will tell you to begin your comments after the beep. I'll remind the callers they should mute their TV or live video stream before they begin speaking. We will start with our first caller.
All bold. Hope you don't slip out for the World Series, Nora. The people you govern over are more important. Sorry I called you nanny long ago. I think that all of the board should have a nanny, sort of like an independent auditor. Keep you in line. Absences and tardies, the alleged and actual reason, should be in the minute. If no official reason, your pay needs to be adjusted. Now, on with the Cal Constitution. Article 2, Section 7 says, voting shall be secret. Having to put your name on an envelope associated with the vote chips away at the secret ballot. Article 3, Section 6 says English is the official language of the state of California. So, when you have an official giving a speech in a foreign tongue in the public meetings, such as the TJ mayor at Sanday, his remarks need to be translated into English or summarized at that meeting. I'm sure we would all like to know what's going on or down, as the case may be. We might even learn a bit. Finally, Article 4 says, might seem to apply only to the legislature, as the title says, but Section 16 says, all laws of general nature have uniform operation. Local or special statute is invalid in any case if a general statute can be made applicable. So a lot of ordinances you make simply because the state passed a law, especially those made to promote what you call equity. So probably to read the Bren Act. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now hear from the next caller.
It's truth. Joel, on October 15th, you claimed the county cares about animals. If that's true, why have you supervisors failed and neglected and abused horses and dogs on Artesian Road and Rancho Santa Fe? Jim, Ebony, Strong, Davia, Tara, the lies are over. I found a once classified document written in April 2023 by County Chief Veterinarian Kathy Hamilton. It was sent to Talia Padilla, Lavelle Jackson, DAS's Carl Smith, Kelly Campbell, Kathleen Flannery, and Chuck Westerhide that read in part, quote, Deborah Barkley's vet, Dr. Robin Perry, stated that Mrs. Barkley has too many horses. She has noticed a decline in the care and maintenance of the ranch. Debbie was systematically euthanizing horses. She put 2 horses down on April 2nd. DAS declined to take the 3 dogs Deborah brought because they wanted her to sign them over for euthanasia. Debbie agreed that the ranch was in disrepair. Horse Booker had an open wound on the right front leg, and one unknown horse had hoof abscesses. Horse Easy had laminitis. Another horse was 3-legged lame with a fever over 103 degrees and the right hind hoof streaked with hemorrhages. The barn was unkempt and in disrepair. The stalls had not been cleaned in weeks. Horses were covered in feces and had not been groomed in months. Most hay was trampled in the urine and feces. Horses in the paddock were standing at 8 to 12 inches of muddy feces and urine. 8 to 10 stallions were being kept in confinement. Several horses needed a farrier. Horses needed their teeth floated. A 25-year-plus Arab mare was very thin and kept in a dirty stall with no water. Many horses did not have any water. Debbie's husband, Craig, was in the house. Estimated 70 horses on the property, 9 puppies, 4 dogs, and 2 goats. April 8th received a text from Debbie regarding her filly racing today at Santa Anita. DAS being bombarded with complaints in the press. As a county entity, we are mandated to answer their questions and prove that we are rectifying the situation. I told Deborah they will force our hand, end quote. Every supervisor and DAS have failed to answer the questions of a clear case of abuse. Sick liars.
Thank you. Now hear from the next caller.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors. My name is Madison Rapp. Today, I urge you to consider the urgent health risks associated with cannabis use, as highlighted in a recent report from the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine. This organization was tasked by Congress with advising on pressing scientific matters, and they called for immediate action to protect public health. Despite a wealth of research documenting the risks, from cognitive impairment in youth to increased instances of psychosis and even higher rates of cancer and heart disease, public awareness seems alarmingly low. Daily cannabis users now outnumber regular alcohol drinkers, a trend fueled by the lax regulation that has followed state-level legalization. Manufacturers often downplay the risks and overstate therapeutic benefits, leaving consumers in the dark. Public education campaigns are crucial. Many are unaware that cannabis products have become significantly more potent. Studies show that THC levels in cannabis have increased tenfold over the last 50 years, with concentrates now reaching upwards of 90% THC. Higher doses correlate with greater risk, and oversight of these products remains woefully inadequate. We also need to address the unintended consequences of the 2018 Farm Bill, which deregulated hemp and inadvertently opened the door for dangerous synthetic cannabinoids like Delta-8 THC. These products, often confused with non-intoxicating hemp, can lead to severe health crises, as we've seen in alarming reports of accidental overdoses, including children requiring hospitalization. Restrictions on advertising, especially to youth, are minimal. The National Academies recommended refining the definition of hemp to ensure no forms of THC are exempt from the Controlled Substances Act. This is a necessary step to restore regulatory oversight and protect our communities. In conclusion, it's time for our government to reclaim its authority over cannabis regulation. Thank you.
Thank you. Now hear from the next caller.
Hi, my name is Zora Fahim, President and founder of Los Angeles Alliance for Animals. I'm also a voting constituent in District 5. We have been attending the Board of Supervisors meeting for several months now with severe concerns of violations of California law and suspect the County of San Diego is breaking their own ordinance, that they are responsible for enforcing animal cruelty statutes. Now, several months later, another horse has died due to emaciation and has suffered under the county's watch. On October 11th of this year, another horse call came in from Valley Center on Skyview. This is Supervisor Jim Desmond's district. Call came in that a horse is down, but there was no info on its physical condition. The officer that received the call made a phone call only. Let me repeat that so people understand the severity of this situation. The officer that received the call made a phone call only, not a visit, but a phone call. It's like having a reporting party call the paramedics that you're emaciated and suffering, and the paramedic just called back, not a visit to see if you're okay. Then this horse lay suffering on October 11th and 12th because animal services did not go out. And on the 13th, they received a call that the horse is now dead. But no one was made aware of the updates because of dispatch. Now, on 10/13, another call came in, but dispatch was not aware, did not update anybody. 10/14, they get a call that a horse is now dead because it's been laying suffering. DAS never went out. Now the horse is laying there, no help, and there's a second horse that is skin and bones, emaciated, easily a 1 of 9. No one went out for 3 days. We need DAS contract to be transferred immediately to San Diego Humane Society because DAS has become a textbook of example of government failure. How many more horses need to die under the county's watch? Please give me a number because at this point the entire world is looking.
Thank you. Now hear from the final caller this morning.
Consuelo, such a failure, such a disappointment. Imagine if all those people who received proclamations actually stood for these meetings and heard everything that you guys do and don't do. What a different county we would have. You guys would probably actually be doing your jobs. But no, instead, we have people coming in, getting these awards by people who truly don't care about them. Nora goes off to Mexico. She goes off to New York. She's not in any way, shape, or form fit for her position. But yet, there she is, selected. You're not elected. Remember that. And hopefully you will, too, just like Nathan, be gone, because you guys do absolutely nothing but contribute to destroying our county. It is disgusting, it is sad, and it is just like appalling. And yet you, the few people who call you guys out every week that you claim you need security for, are the ones that truly care. Not getting paid, but we're here, and we're not going anywhere. And I truly hope that you guys do what you can for those poor horses that are suffering, for every being that is suffering in our county. We do what we can on our side with the little funds that we have. You guys have so much control, you guys have so much you can do, but yet you continue to do something that is not for the people, to our demise. It's for the agenda. What a failure. What a disappointment. Sorry about that.
Thank you. And Chairwoman Vargas, that concludes the request for non-agenda public communication this morning. Again, all the remaining callers will be heard at the conclusion of today's session.
Chair, can I just ask staff on one issue here that was brought up? I think the situation in Valley Center that happened over this past weekend is unacceptable. It took 3 phone calls to animal services and a horse dying before somebody showed up. So our sensitivity, I think, to horses and other animals should be on super high alert. After all we've heard lately, it should always be on alert, or high alert, but particularly now. And I know we have a new Deputy Chief Administrative Officer and a new Director of Animal Services now, and I know this issue is going to be a priority for them, and I look forward to hearing it from staff on how we're going to ensure this doesn't happen again. Thank you.
You're welcome. So moving on to the next item, our agenda is the approval of the statement of proceedings minutes for the regular board meeting and Fire Protection District meeting, both held on October 8th, 2024. Unless there are any member comments or questions on the minutes, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes. All right. Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Do we vote here? Okay. Please vote.
Chairwoman Vargas, that motion passes unanimously with all supervisors being present and voting aye.
All right. I'm sorry, Andrew, I didn't realize that you wanted to respond to Supervisor Desmond. Go ahead.
And thank you, Chairwoman Vargas and Supervisor. I just wanted to let you know we are looking into that situation. There is an active investigation at this time for that incident, and there were 2 animals removed from that property because of that incident. So we are in custody of a horse and a dog at this time. But we take this very seriously, and we are definitely looking into the protocols and have an active investigation.
Now proceed with the formation of our consent calendar, item 1 to 21. All agenda items on the consent calendar are routine and will be acted upon with one motion. Members of the public will be able to comment on the consent calendar after supervisors pull the items they would like for discussion. So I'm going to go ahead and pull item number 9 regarding the local emergency review for discussion to be heard concurrently with item 28 and 31. And then, let's see, with that, Supervisor Anderson, are there any items that you wish to pull for discussion?
No.
Supervisor Montgomery Stepp?
Don't want to pull anything, just a quick comment on item number 20. Excited to nominate Kia DeSaro to the Fly Abatement and Appeals Board. Kia has a master's in biology with a focus on ecology and has worked in government for over 10 years. She will be a wealth of knowledge and energy to the board. And with that, I'll move the consent agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Desmond?
No, I have no items to pull, no comments, and I'll second the motion.
Okay. Vice Chair Lawson-Weimer? All right. I just want to acknowledge and thank item number 8. I wanted to acknowledge that there's $2.5 million for grant funds that we're receiving from the Biden-Harris administration, community project funding and congressional direct spending. So I want to formally thank Supervisor U.S. Senator Padilla, the late Senator Feinstein, and then thank Senator LaFonso Butler for continuing on this work. And then I also just want to highlight item number 12 really quickly because this is one I think that is very important every year where we ask everyone we solicit volunteers for our annual point-in-time count set forward by the Regional Task Force on the Homelessness. And just a reminder that this allows us to create, the count gives us the data that we need to continue to do the continuum of care for our region and a snapshot. And so I want to encourage county staff again for being engaged in that process. It's going to take place on January 30th, 2025, and I hope that we can increase the number of folks that join us for that. With that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over. Oh, you know what? Let me go ahead and tell folks what we're going to have for discussion just for the items. So we'll have 22 to 33 on the regular agenda, and then item 1 for the protection district. That'll be after, right? And then we'll do item number. Let's see. Items 9, 28, and 31 will have an opportunity to be heard concurrently. And I think that's, item 125, and then item number 9, 28, 31, and then we'll go ahead and do the rest of the agenda. Does that make sense for everyone? Okay? All right, so we're going to turn it over for public comment.
Thank you, Chairwoman Vargas. We have 9 requests to speak on items on the consent calendar, 3 in person and 6 requesting to speak by phone. As a reminder, item 9 was pulled from the consent calendar for discussion, so any individuals that requested to speak on item 9, please hold your comment until the board discusses that item. We'll receive public comment on that item separately. We'll begin with the in-person speakers. As your name is called, please come forward and stand on the arrows until it is your turn to speak. I'd like to invite forward the following individuals: Mark, Catherine Rhodes, and allegedly Audra. You'll have 2 minutes to address the board, and I'll ask you to please identify which items on the consent calendar you are speaking on. You're welcome to come forward in any order.
Mark, what a travesty. So number 5, Department of Social Services for Afghan Refugee Support Services and Housing Assistance for Ukrainians. I have nothing against these people. I understand why everyone would want to come here. We simply can't afford that. But moreover, what little we could have afforded, Biden has literally, his administration spent $150 billion on migrants. And there's a story, before I even got prepared for this, I just saw a story last night on Fox News that the millions of dollars you guys have put into the migrant shelter here has run out, and they're boarding buses and being moved all over the place. They filmed that. It's a recent story. You can see it on Fox News site. And so, yeah, $600 million. that Biden has offered the victims of Hurricane Helene and Milton. $600 million, but $150 billion for migrants. And we still have our homeless problem here. In fact, I dare say you guys haven't touched a tenth of it. I'd say 9/10 of the people that are homeless are still out there in tents or just walking the streets. Of course, $150 billion would have solved all those problems and much, much more. But obviously, this administration doesn't care about its people at all. If that's not evident to everyone at this point, you're just not thinking at all. So let's see, what else is there? Oh, and by the way, Kevin Stevenson calling me a xenophobe. I am not a xenophobe. In fact, I don't even want any immigrants right now until we help our people from whatever country I'm from or my ancestors are from, okay? It's not xenophobia at all. So let's see here. Chapter agreement to purchase tax default of the land by County of San Diego Department of Parks and Recreation. Well, that's the plan, to get it all into the parks, so we won't be allowed there. Hunger Games.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hello, Catherine Rhodes, and I'm speaking for item 3, the Sheriff's Incarcerated Persons Welfare Fund. Item 6, procurement of electronic health records, which is epic, which is fabulous. So excited for that one at least. But first for the Sheriff's Incarcerated Welfare Fund, that's part of Penal Code. I think it's section, I forgot what Penal Code, section 4025. So what they talk about is that they spent $5.6 million, but they're not following the exact laws that they're supposed to do. So I would say take it back and actually make them do the things. As part of the penal code, what they have to do is they have to say how much money was spent, which they did, $5.7 million. They forgot to say how many number of inmates the program served. How many? The sheriff didn't put it in his report. You can't approve it unless you do, then that's illegal. The next one is the type of existence which the funds were used. They actually put that down, which is good. And then the fourth one, the average length of time an inmate used a program, missing from your report. Come on. So, you know, this has been since 2016, so you've been doing it wrong for 8 years. So maybe somebody could change that. The next one that I'd like is having EPIC for your electronic health records for the county. So fabulous. But I want you to do a little bit extra, specifically for the homeless. I would like you to pay for the electronic health records to be used for the Regional Task Force on the Homeless. This would be literally the perfect thing that we would do. But what you would have to do is you would have to help train people on EPIC, because it costs a lot of money to train them. And so I would recommend you put more money in this, and you even just use the Mental Health Service Act funds, or you use the ARPA funds, and you pay for poor people and poor health people.
Thank you. Thank you. Time's up. Next speaker, please.
My person uses the name Audra, so amen, Mark, was good. Should be talking about how money is going to facilitate the invasion of our border, and it's actually treason. And all of you are engaged in it. Sad. 8 U.S.C. 1324, too, you're aiding and abetting illegals. But, you know, as long as you keep doing that, then, you know, you're going to definitely be held accountable. But so with number 12, it just, piggybacking off of that, reminds me of my first experience in engaging with these illegals that I found during the point in time count last year. It was interesting to come up on 50 military-age men in a church behind a wall that you could smell them. That was one of the first things I experienced. And then I just started noticing that they were like trying to hide what was going on. And it's like, well, that's weird. If we're doing something for humanity and it's like a humanitarian thing, why would we be so hiding everything? Like, what would be the point of that? And asking questions to like Stephen Whitburn after they walked from that church over to the elementary school at SDUSD Unified School District. And I said, what is happening there? I saw 50 military-aged men get on a white bus. They went into the school. Oh, well, what we were doing today was counting the homeless. Yes, I know. I know that. And I came across a bunch of illegals that are getting all of these things that the homeless don't even get. But we can't even talk about it, right? That's what's so great. That's when you know it's totally nefarious, when there is no transparency, accountability, or any consent from the people that you're taking that money from. But that's not what you guys are here for. You're here to destroy everything. So you're doing a very good job, and Satan is so proud.
Thank you. We'll now hear from the individuals that requested to speak by phone. We will start with our first caller.
Hi, Gambler here. How you guys doing this fine and lovely day? I'm talking about item number 17, and I'm applying for that job. I think I should take Michael Booth's job since I think I have a great job in doing that. You know, Virginia is going to be the only state that we could trust their elections because they reversed all the vote-by-mail rules. There are so many different ways to cheat the system, and hell, many of the people you gave awards to this fine morning. You also rolled me because I just wanted to talk one time. So you disconnected me right before I talked. I'm glad Summer Siphons agrees with me and not you, Nora. And now I know for a fact that you are covering up voter fraud. So when voter fraud gets discovered at the end of this year, and people are going to be held accountable, that includes all 5 of you Board of Supervisors. That includes the registrar. That includes assistant registrar. That includes Aaron Myers. That also includes Heidi. On top of that, the crimes with friggin' transporting illegals, on top of killing horses, you guys are so corrupt, it's not even funny. And you want me to shut up? You don't like how I talk to you? Give me a friggin' break. You can't do these atrocities and not expect anything back. All I did was call you names. And you have me thrown in jail for 3 days. That's fucking bullshit. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. You guys, turnabout is fair play. And I hope to hell you guys go into jail for more than 3 years for the crimes that you guys are committing.
Thank you. Now hear from the next caller.
Paul LeBeau. Health records. I'm amazed that in a county where just about every big hospital has an electronic health record system, that you're just getting one. Accurate and timely info would save you a lot of money. It alarms me that you propose to award a sole source contract with a third-party provider, which means we may end up paying its salaries, transportation, warehousing, and service costs beyond what the actual equipment maker charges. Jail Welfare Fund. To call an annotated pie chart an itemized report as called for in Penal Code 4025E is a bit of a stretch. The board letter says funds are expended primarily for educational, vocational, and behavioral training that supports the prisoners. We should know how much is spent on each category. Congratulations to the sheriff, though, on spending only 3% or 3.7% on ops and sports, but the report should be redone. Refugee grants. Why only Afghans and Ukrainians? The board letter says the county was awarded funding to continue supportive services for refugees and immigrants. Also, that the Office of Immigrant and Refugee Affairs collaborates with locals to ensure that services are accessible to all. No documentation to explain why only Afghans and Ukrainians. As for housing assistance, the biggest help he could give us is to limit rent increases to the cost of living. Also, building cheaper and much quicker housing, which Mark and I keep suggesting, or community corrections plan.
Thank you. Now hear from the next caller.
Hi, this is Pam. Hi, my friends. You know who you are. Number 5, no. But you'd be foolish to not accept these funds, right? The federal, state, and local governments continue to spend millions and billions on illegal immigrants and then also keep them oppressed and marginalized by giving them free stuff so they don't have to really help themselves. And why not? This is an income-generating stream to those who present as champions for these communities. Once money is received from the government, a non-government organization becomes a government organization and has the freedom to spend taxpayer money any way it chooses. Many provisions are provided free to illegal immigrants without expiration dates. Provisions of public health include abortion to kill unborn babies and free transgender procedures, which would also include performance of these procedures on minor children with or without parental consent. Schools will happily keep secrets from the parents to promote the trans agenda. Immigrant parents, beware. Finally, children are mentioned in an immigration item, but only 70. Do we know if these children are unaccompanied minors or are they with their parents? The open border promoted by border czar Kamala Harris, that's how you say her name, Kamala, continues to allow illegal entry into the country, causing chaos, disruption, and financial pressure on American cities and communities. San Diego County is complicit in causing havoc in many other American cities by shipping illegal immigrants to their so-called final destination. Sadly, the focus is on illegal immigrants in this county and their needs, while our veterans and homeless are not a priority to a couple of you on the board. You need to take care of Americans first. It's not just America first, it's American first. Number 6, no. People must be informed about electronic medical record keeping and the risk of leaking their personal information to unknown entities. People must be permitted to opt out of anything electronic.
Thank you. Now hear from the next caller.
Consuelo, I think I'm going to speak on, let's see, 11, semi-annual report of gifts and donations. It looks like a lot of individual donations. The letters are just going to friends of the library. I hope the individual donors are recognized by the county as well. Anyway, let's see what else. Gosh, man, this is a loaded consent calendar. Yeah, back to the whole, I just want to repeat for number 5 what Paul mentioned, why only Afghanistans and Ukrainians. The board letter even says the County of San Diego was awarded 2 additional funding allocations to continue providing supportive services to assist refugees and newly arrived immigrants. Nothing about nationalities. In fact, the letter says the Office of Immigrant and Refugee Affairs collaborates with local communities and resettlement agencies to ensure that services are accessible to all. There is no additional documentation to explain why only Afghans and Ukrainians. Nothing against them, but yeah. And as for housing assistance, the biggest help you could give is to limit rent increases to the cost of living. Other help would include building the cheaper and more quicker housing, which Paul and Mark constantly are suggesting to this board. Yeah, what else? Yeah, that's all I want to say.
Thank you. Now hear from the next caller.
It's truth. No, Nora, it does not make sense to rearrange the agenda every meeting. Item 1, Joel's fraternal organizations that masquerade as being about community when really they promote internationalist United Nations goals, such as the Freemasons or Solar Optimists, should not be exempt from licensing requirements unless everyone's going to be exempt, which I would fully support. Item 2, I only support renaming the Sheriff's Department to Sheriff's Office if Kelly will finally become an independent authority rather than a county minion. Example, start arresting supervisors who violate the First Amendment. Item 4, AB 109 forced dangerous criminals in state prison to be dumped into county jails, and the county plan has been to dump the criminals into undeserved housing, put them on drugs, and call it equity. Item 5, $3 million state debt dollars to dump Afghan and Ukrainian refugees into National City. Who knows why there? Item 6, Epic software was already found by HHS to have inpatient stays upcoded and upcharged by 20% to maximize profits for hospitals. Epic has also been accused of being a monopoly. Ocean Inc. is the only provider of the Epic system, so this sounds like a $6.5 million scam. Item 8, quote, the 2.5 million county public health lab serves as the approved CDC select agent lab and as the location of the federal BioWatch program, end quote. Experimenting with diseases and genomes on behalf of the lying CDC. What could go wrong? Item 11, the letter to Joan Elizabeth Mercure Estate has the word clients misspelled. Item 12, no to county workers getting paid to go count the homeless like they're mere numbers on the street. Item 14, how can DHS put tax dollars to anti-drug trafficking activities when the federal government is the one enabling the drug trafficking? Item 16, how can the county offer to purchase land to give to the county? Conflict of interest. And why was the former assessee the American Cancer Society? Item 17, yes to Virginia Hall for the Growth Board. Item 18, SANAG without conflicts of interest. Alas. Item 19, no to tracking county workers' immunizations under Section 200.4.c. And the county is sensitive to horses that don't belong to Craig Netwick and Deborah Barkley. Isn't that?
Thank you. Now hear from the next caller.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors. Ann Riddle here. I called in this morning to address item 4 and 3. Item 4 has to do with accepting quite a bit of money regarding the Community Corrections Partnership. And in it, it mentions that they would like to have involvement and feedback from families whose loved ones were involved with the justice system. And I'd like to volunteer for that since I have a long-standing experience with that. And since I turn in my phone number, I would hope you'd be able to reach me as part of my registration, because I wonder if you really are hearing from families. Because in consent item 3, when you talk about how to use the money that comes to the incarcerated person's welfare fund, again, a great deal of money, almost $5.7 million, which I would love to know how it was spent. Its goals are quite wonderfully illustrated by the words that it is essential to decrease the rate of return into custody. And it's important to reunify families and to promote an overall positive impact for all of us who live with those who are coming out of incarceration. I would just like to express my concern that though those are wonderful words, we have coming up the idea that one of the ways to help those who are incarcerated for drug charges is to give them the opportunity to sell drugs again under the guise of pot stores, marijuana outlets, and that's just a conflict in terms to help those who are involved with selling drugs yet again sell drugs. I have to admit, my own loved one thinks that's the best idea he ever heard. And trust me, our family doesn't think that's the greatest idea that we ever.
Thank you. And Chairwoman Vargas, that concludes public comment on the items in the consent calendar.
Thank you. The next item will be moving on to?
Take a vote on the consent calendar.
Sorry.
Thank you. We have a motion by Supervisor Montgomery Stepp, second by Supervisor Desmond for items 1 through 8 and 10 through 21. Chairwoman Vargas, that motion passes unanimously with all supervisors being present and voting aye. And for the public's benefit, I'd like to go over the order of discussion items on behalf of the chairwoman. The board will first be considering item 1 on the Fire Protection District agenda. That'll be followed by item 25. And then it will be followed by concurrent items 9, which was pulled from consent, item 28, and item 31. Again, all 3 of those items will be heard concurrently. Then the board will hear the remaining items in numerical order. So again, beginning with Fire Protection District at item 1, followed by item number 25 on the regular agenda, and items 9, 28, and 31.
All right. We will now move on to item number 1 for the Fire Protection District regarding enhancing the fire safety of homes while providing homeowners financial relief with the cost of insurance. Let me go ahead and turn it over to public comment.
Thank you, Chairwoman Vargas. We have 6 requests to speak on this item, 2 in person, 4 requesting to speak by phone. Also note that we received 4 e-comments. 3 of those were in favor. For any individuals that requested to speak on Fire Protection District Item 1 by phone, please dial into the conference line using the instructions that were provided to you. We'll begin with the in-person speakers, starting with the individual in favor, followed by the individual in opposition. As name is called, please come forward and stand in the arrows. I'd like to invite forward Oliver Twist, followed by allegedly Audra. You'll have 2 minutes to address the board. I'll ask you to please state your name for the audio record.
Good morning, Supervisors. Oliver Twist here, now speaking as Mary Davis on behalf of the thousands of backcountry and unincorporated residents. First of all, thanks to Supervisor Desmond and Supervisor Anderson for bringing this forward. It's so critical. I really like to believe I live in a county where it really works for all. Sadly, that doesn't seem to be the case for a state that works for all. My homeowner's insurance came on the brink of being canceled. Instead, it was only raised 150%. It really took a hit on my family budget. And when I called the state commissioner's office, who is supposed to be representing we the people and acting like they care, they told me that I should just be glad that my insurance wasn't canceled. That was not helpful at all and was actually a very marginalizing experience for me. So anything that can be put to lower rates and to help consumers, I really appreciate. And thank you very much for advocating for the unincorporated area. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
There's a Band-Aid on the floor. Is that, need help? Or, okay. I'm not going to touch it just in case. Okay. Yeah, my person uses the name Audra. So wouldn't it be great if we were actually going to help people with that? But I mean, as, you know, Mary Davis was talking about, there's some pretty big issues with, you know, people being canceled and whatnot, and, you know, just the cost going up and how much relief are you really going to provide? Because, you know, as we see with the storms and stuff like that, you know, people are still suffering. We're engaging with FEMA, who's engaged in that continued suffering of the people because they're like, we only have this much money for you. We're going to give hundreds of millions of dollars to the illegals, but for you, we'll give you $750, and then you may have to pay that back or we'll take all of your land. So those are the types of things that the government is engaged in. So it always on the surface looks really good when you bring something like this forward, but the proof in the pudding is that you guys don't want anybody in the unincorporated areas. The idea with the United Nations plan, Nora, that you are so in love with, is to get people out of those areas and put them in our own little 15-minute city. And so it's like, if we're going to do that, I think you should really make it fun. I think instead of, you know, spending money on the sidewalks and biking, we should bring in roller coasters and perhaps a moving sidewalk. That would be fun, you know, because then people won't want to leave so much. So, I mean, if you guys kind of do things that would entice people to stay as opposed to enslave them, make them not understand that they're being enslaved. You've already done a great job with much of the county doing that. So, you know, whatever, I mean, even like hot air balloons would be pretty cool too. Andrew, wouldn't you run on one of those? I think you would. You could take it to work, and it would be sustainable. I mean, I'm sure your daughter would love to ride in it too. So yeah.
Can you just focus on the item?
Oh, finally! I was wondering how.
Thank you. We'll now hear from the individuals that requested to speak by phone. We will start with our first caller.
Just a reminder, on all these items, please identify what item you are speaking to, and then please direct all your comments to board members and not staff. Thank you.
I think that means I can begin now. What's interesting is we actually don't have to address what item we're speaking to because we're no longer on the consent. So you might want to catch up. This is Fire Protection 01, and I didn't even read it. I actually know where we're at. So I don't want to minimize Mary's unfortunate experience, which I know is being constantly repeated amongst many people, but I do think that everybody actually gets marginalized when they walk into these chambers. Now, what's interesting, I actually signed up in opposition. I might be in support. I'm not sure yet. But what I have to point out is you guys agreed to approve the state's totalitarian high fire hazard severity zone. And then what do you know? The insurance skyrockets in price. Now, are you going to take responsibility for playing the state's games and then going to pretend that we don't know how we got to this point of high insurance? How much advocacy have you done to try and, get the state insurance idiot to actually start doing things that make improvement rather than continue on the same old, unsustainable path? Because that's what we're seeing on a lot of items. This is just another example of you make stupid decisions, and then you complain about the effects, the consequences of those stupid decisions. It just gets really old. And then there's something about the Insurance Institute for Business and Home Safety. Why would you even reference something that's not within the county? That's just some private business. Don't you guys have answers? Don't you have any answers? Or you just approve whatever the state tells you and then you complain about it later? It's just absolutely ridiculous. For example, you heard the woman talking about how expensive it is to build a home. And then you guys complain about, where's the affordable homes at? We need to work on that. We can't meet the state's numbers. Yeah, because you went along with everything the state told you to do. It just, there's so much of this craziness that I can take. So if you have solutions, great. But I haven't heard any. I don't think this is one either. I think it's bad.
Thank you. Now hear from the next caller.
Consuelo, can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. An Orwellian dystopian nightmare, truth? Yep, that's where we're at. Kind of like they're just puppets going around and around, not solving anything. But anyways, okay, number one, right? Let's see. General orders. Okay, so ordinance amending. Okay, fraternal orders focus on community and charity of veterans organizers. We should have some kind of guarantee. Yeah. I got nothing on this one. It's just drunken, stupid, yeah. Yeah, I got nothing.
Okay, thank you. And Chairwoman Vargas, that concludes public comment on this item.
Is there a motion to approve?
Can I have a couple comments? I'm sorry, I forgot to push my button.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry about that. Just on this item, this is a fire protection district item, and I'd like to thank County Fire for all their efforts on this, working with Supervisor Anderson's office and myself to bring this program forward. Fire insurance is one of those issues that we hear about most from a lot of our constituents. Fire insurance it's a unique issue for the county because we actually have no control over the fire insurance industry. They're regulated by the state. But it's been heartbreaking to hear so many people about the rates and skyrocketing or homeowners just losing their fire insurance altogether. So what's happening throughout the state, there isn't enough happening out of the state insurance commissioner's office. It's not happening fast enough for thousands of residents, people I've heard from across California who need insurance relief now. And I know there's a state program, but I understand that state program isn't much cheaper than having no insurance at all. But helping to facilitate the wildfire prepared home program in our communities is one of the things the county can do to potentially provide residents with safe insurance relief, and that's the Wildfire Prepared Home Program. The Insurance Institute for Business and Home Safety is a nonprofit insurance industry group whose members include dozens of major insurance companies. That group created the Wildfire Prepared Home Program as a resource for homeowners to protect their homes from fire and to potentially obtain discounts on fire insurance. The general idea is if you get your home certified under the Prepared Home Program, you get it certified, you can receive a discount on your insurance, with the specific discount unfortunately being left up to the insurance company, but it's better than nothing. The program consists of 2 certification tiers, with your discount being related to which tier you get certified for. So the board action today is to direct County Fire to implement a program in the San Diego County Fire Protection District. A County Fire staff member will be designated to help our residents go through the application and inspection process for the program. While the program won't fix the insurance crisis altogether, it is a positive step we can go forward with, having Cal Fire or fire agency certify houses as being fire safe in either 1 or 2 tiers, and potentially then that lowering their insurance when they're presented that to their insurance company. So with that, I'll move approval of item number 1, Fire Protection District.
Supervisor Anderson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to second that motion. I want to thank my colleague, Jim Desmond, for all his great work on this issue. While this is a baby step in the right direction, and the state fully controls the insurance and regulates the insurance industry, we're taking baby steps in the right direction, doing everything within our power that we can control. And I just want to do a quick shout out to County Fire, Jeff Collins and Jessica Martinez for their outstanding work, excellent work in helping us draft this letter and focusing in, helping and lifting those who are in high-risk fire areas. With that, I'd like to second the motion.
Without any further discussion, we have a motion and a second. Please vote.
And Chairwoman Vargas, acting as the Board of Directors of the Fire Protection District, that motion passes unanimously with all directors being present and voting aye.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. The next item on the agenda will be item number 25, and we're going to get a presentation on automatic licenses, plate recognition, and incorporated areas of San Diego County. So I'm going to turn it over to our Deputy Chief Administrator of the Public Safety Group for presentation, Mr. Strong.
And thank you, Chairwoman Vargas and members of the board. Today, the Sheriff's Office comes before you and the community to present on its intent to implement license plate reader technology in the unincorporated areas of the county. I'll pass it over to Sheriff Martinez, who will walk us through the details of today's request.
Thank you, Andrew. Good morning, Chairwoman Vargas and members of the board. This morning, we're going to present to you our implementation of the automated license plate recognition, or ALPR technology, in the unincorporated areas of San Diego County. The Sheriff's Office is responsible for providing public safety and law enforcement services for over 4,200 square miles of unincorporated San Diego County. Deputies in these areas can use this technology as a force multiplier when they are looking for missing persons, investigating crime, and even when identifying human activity related to wildland fires. Per Senate Bill 34, which passed in 2015, public agencies, including law enforcement, that operate or use an ALPR system are to maintain reasonable security procedures and practices to protect ALPR data, as well as implementing a usage and public privacy policy that is made accessible to the public. In addition, a public agency that operates or intends to operate an ALPR system shall provide an opportunity for public comment at a regularly scheduled public meeting of the governing body of the agency before implementing the program. With me today is Captain Christopher Lawrence. He will provide a presentation on our implementation of an ALPR system in the unincorporated areas of San Diego County.
Thank you, Sheriff, and good afternoon, Chairwoman and members of the board. ALPRs are high-speed, computer-controlled camera systems that contain optical character recognition technology, which allows them to read license plates. ALPRs communicate with law enforcement databases to aid in life-saving efforts and law enforcement investigations. ALPRs are a non-discriminatory tool as they scan each vehicle crossing their path, regardless of the occupant's race, gender, age, or other characteristics. ALPR technology captures images of plates and allows law enforcement agencies to identify and compare plates against those of cars driven by people suspected of being involved in illegal activities. The Sheriff's Office will utilize Flock Safety's ALPR system in fixed locations throughout unincorporated San Diego County. To help shed light on how ALPR cameras function, I'd like to walk you through the steps involved in an ALPR camera notification. Using the Flock interface, license plates captured by the cameras are compared to California Law Enforcement Telecommunications System, or CLETS, data related to missing, wanted, or stolen vehicles. If a camera reads a plate contained in the database, a real-time notification is generated and sent to users such as dispatchers, patrol deputies, and detectives. Notifications may also be broadcast by the Sheriff's Communication Center. Once a notification is received, a visual confirmation is made for validity, and then staff respond according to the severity of the circumstances. This cross-reference confirmation helps validate the accuracy of the notification to ensure that law enforcement respond to an accurate vehicle. ALPRs have proven to be extremely beneficial and effective for law enforcement operations, acting as a force multiplier for agencies that struggle with staffing issues and high caseloads. Detectives have been able to increase their case closure rates and reduce investigative timelines. Patrol deputies can respond to at-risk individuals and crime suspects in real time based on alerts provided by the system as it compares license plates to California law enforcement databases. Coordination efforts between other local law enforcement agencies are also enhanced by collaborative investigations. Currently, every municipal police department in the county and 5 of the sheriff's contract cities are utilizing ALPR camera technology. The 5 contract cities are Del Mar, Encinitas, Poway, San Marcos, and Solana Beach. All of this said, systems like ALPRs move law enforcement toward precision policing by placing limited resources in the most optimal positions. Given the potential of concern for privacy safeguards, I'd like to now provide the policies and mechanisms to ensure vehicle information is protected. The Sheriff's Office complies with California law designed to protect private individual information. Before being allowed access to ALPR databases, authorized sheriff staff must complete ALPR-specific training and California Law Enforcement Telecommunications System certification tests. Access to the information is limited to life-saving and criminal investigation efforts. ALPR data is not commercially sold or shared, and Sheriff ALPR data is not shared with federal or out-of-state law enforcement agencies. Flock ALPR data is only retained for 30 days unless the information is retained by an investigator as part of their criminal investigation. Audits for access and use are completed by the Sheriff's ALPR coordinator at a minimum once each calendar year. The office will audit a sampling of the ALPR system utilization from the prior 12-month period to verify proper use in accordance with the above authorized uses. Lastly, the Sheriff's Office made it imperative to incorporate and inform the community of its intent to implement an ALPR program in unincorporated San Diego County. This past summer, during the months of July through September, local station commands conducted 30 events to inform and receive feedback from communities that are anticipated to have ALPR devices. Over 80% of those who provided responses were in support of the initiative. 9 individuals were not in favor due to concerns with personal privacy and police surveillance, and another 14 individuals were interested in learning more about the program, therefore registered an undecided position. The 145 individuals who formally registered feedback on this program during the outreach events were all invited to today's hearing to receive the formal board presentation. Continuing the conversation on our community education efforts, proposed ALPR locations were shared with the impacted communities during the community sessions. This slide presented before you captures an image of the anticipated locations of cameras across the Sheriff's jurisdiction. With transparency at the forefront of this endeavor, this information will be maintained on the Sheriff's public website, along with the policies that govern the operations, so communities can stay informed. Lastly, not only are local law enforcement agencies seeing successes in their ALPR programs, but sheriff contract cities have already started experiencing many success stories since our first fixed ALPR system rolled out in 2022. Most notably, Flock ALPRs assisted sheriff's homicide detectives during a hit-and-run murder investigation in July of this year. Using the Flock ALPR database, detectives were able to identify the suspect's vehicle fleeing from the scene. The suspect was later arrested by the Fugitive Task Force. North Coastal detectives have been able to safely apprehend several suspects who have committed thefts from numerous commercial entities since fixed ALPR cameras have been active in their area. ALPR cameras have also helped relocate a child who was taken during a parental abduction and concealed in Riverside County. Sheriff's Fugitive Task Force members located the child and arrested the suspects based on ALPR data. North Coastal area detectives utilized the Sheriff's Flock ALPR system to solve a multi-jurisdictional storage facility burglary ring. Several suspects were identified and later arrested. Stolen property from several of the burglaries were recovered and returned to the rightful owners. Flock safety ALPRs have already made a positive and measurable impact on the public safety efforts in other cities throughout San Diego. We are excited to expand this success to the residents living in the county's unincorporated areas. With that, I'd like to now turn it back to Andrew Strong to conclude today's presentation.
Thank you, Captain Lawrence. Today's recommendation is to receive the Sheriff's Office's presentation pursuant to Senate Bill 34 on its intent to procure and use ALPR cameras in the unincorporated areas of San Diego County and allow for public comment. Chairwoman Vargas and members of the board, this concludes our presentation, and we are here for questions.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and turn over public comment, and then we'll come back for my colleagues' questions.
Thank you, Chairwoman Vargas. We have 6 requests to speak on this item, 2 in person and 4 requesting to speak by phone. Also note that we did not receive any e-comments on this item. For any individuals that requested to speak on item 25 by phone, please dial into the conference line using the instructions that were provided to you. We'll begin with the in-person speakers. Both are in opposition of this item. As your name is called, please come forward. I'd like to invite Mark and allegedly Audra. You'll have 2 minutes to address the board, and I'll ask you to please state your name for the audio record.
My person uses the name Audra. I would trust you, Kelly, about protecting the safety of people in the community if you didn't disregard my being beat up by one of your sheriffs and exempt him from any liability. But yeah, this is great because on the surface, it's like, we're going to make you guys safe. In reality, you're tracking and tracing people. And this is how they keep people in their 15-minute cities in Europe. And they can't go down into those low emission zones. So I'm waiting for you to do that because I'm sure it's coming down the pipe. And it's interesting because, you know, having this third party come in with a vendor and all of this stuff, there's no guarantee that the information that they're going to be sharing is not going to be shared with other companies. So you could sit here and say all day long that what you guys are doing is going to be totally secure, when in reality it's not, because they can sell that data. They actually do. You can get a subscription to it, which is nice, right? As long as we do that. It's always fun having your, record shared with other law enforcement agencies. But yet, maybe if I crossed the border illegally and came here, then you wouldn't do it, right? Because I'd be like, I'm seeking asylum. You got to protect me because we can't share that information. All while people are, that little girl that was raped, kind of like that. How we're hiding that information. It's good, right? So good. I mean, because you don't care about the safety of people, because if you did, that wouldn't happen. And you would make sure that it doesn't happen, and you make sure that women don't get beat up. But why would you do that, right? Because you have an allegiance to something else, and it's not what you pretended to take an oath to do. It's an oath to the corporation, not to the people and the Constitution. Because if you knew what that was, you wouldn't be doing any of this. But it's okay. It's your job, right?
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Mark, of course they make this look good, and yes, it can and has been used to solve some crimes. That is nothing compared to what it's really doing. Installing these camera systems is exactly what China has, exactly. And there's no other reason to do it than to ultimately enslave the people, which you can actually see Nora at this Sandag meeting. Here it is on YouTube, the title. And at 1 hour and 22 minutes and 50 seconds, she's talking with UN representatives from Spain or somewhere in Europe about limiting our movement, literally. Doing UN agendas that people know nothing about and do not want, even the people on the left, I'm not left or right. That is really dangerous when you have see this article, it's an article, Google it, FEMA, incredible powers. They can declare a military dictatorship, basically. They can just suspend the Constitution and do whatever they want. And that's too much power for any organization to have. The Constitution has nothing about suspending our Constitution in it. See this? That's on YouTube. I believe, or an article, or this. These are all probably on YouTube or BitChute or articles. Oh, and why is this? Why should you actually take me seriously like this could be a real concern? Well, here's a quote. This is literally a screenshot. And it says, and I'm quoting, Nora Vargas, a prominent leader, participated in the UN meeting with young global leaders in September 2024. Now, that would make her participating with the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, who is for global governance. It's totally against our sovereignty. Do you deny this? It could be wrong. Nora, is this incorrect? No response is not good, Nora.
Thank you. Your time is up. We'll now hear from the individuals that requested to speak by phone. We will begin with our first caller.
Because she only listens to see if we're on topic. Anyways, Consuelo. Yeah, good, yet disturbing to hear that there were at least only nine people who didn't jive well with this technology. Not them. It goes beyond where government needs to keep their big, bully, disgusting, corrupt noses out of. But then again, this too is in lockstep. It's all in lockstep with the UN. And, yep, always under the guise of safety and to protect us. Yeah, right. It is to further track us and enslave us, just like Audra and Mark were talking about. Honestly, how about tracking the real corrupt criminals contributing to treason on a daily? How about we track them? Some of you on the dais. I mean, it's just amazing how more people are not tuning in to these meetings, not calling in, not speaking up. You know, I mean, you can only do so much and say so much, but a lot of people are fed up, and it's just a matter of time when these people start, I mean, unfortunately, they only show up when they're being affected by something, but honestly, this is getting crazy. So you who are listening, call in, show up, speak. You know it's wrong. We've got the same people calling in, saying the same shit over and over, the same deaf ears. That's all I got.
Thank you. Now hear from the next caller.
All about this LPR thing is severely flawed and needs strict limits to protect rights abuses against all of us. LPR technology, cousin of artificial intelligence, usually mounted on street lights, invades our privacy and makes it a lot easier to convict you falsely. LPR data would go through several hands. Ours would be stored on Amazon Cloud, very hackable, regardless of any privacy law. And do we know how far ALPR can read or see into private property from the street? Don't look at or discuss classified info near the ALPR streetlights either, which may be a problem in the Navy area particularly. But do you not want your secrets out in the open? The dangers and ease of creating deep fakes is well known. How many pictures will they actually enhance just enough just to frame someone innocent? LPR is basically an AI thing. A research paper from Berkeley and Stanford universities says that over just 3 months, ChatGPT, an AI program, went from correctly answering a simple math problem 98% of the time to just 2% in 3 months. Similar for visual prediction. With those stats, I don't think we're ready to consider AI in smart street lights. AI cannot testify in court either, and the extra staff to sort out and interpret this data will cost more than it's worth. So we need to go slow on this. And I don't know.
Thank you. Now hear from the next caller.
Hey, sure. Did he say we need to no-go on this? I think he did. Hey, Sheriff's Department, county and state minions, why was SB 34 violated for Hillcrest under that what's-his-name Scott Wall, where SCPD installed ALPRs without council or community input? They just used pride as an excuse. And the media's been pushing the SCPD propaganda hard every time ALPRs are about to hit a council or supervisor agenda. There are almost 1,000 spy cameras all over the county so far. Via grants, the state is helping Zuckerberg's friend, Mark Andreessen's global corporation Flock, build a monopoly on our privacy. Yet it was the state crazies that allowed theft of up to $950, a.k.a. Prop 47. The state's criminal actions are being used as the justification for creating a police state. Flock admits on their website, quote, our ALPRs include searchable queries by vehicle, unique features, decals, bumper stickers, number of times the vehicle has been seen in the last 30 days, and associated vehicles, end quote. This data is shared with other cities, while the criminals who enter our country illegally don't have to worry about their data being shared with immigration. At a National City Council meeting, I learned that some vehicles can actually be exempt from recording. At an Imperial Beach City Council meeting, I learned from Captain Chris, quit following me, that ALPRs can't even catch vehicles going faster than 75 miles per hour. The audit on their use is also internal, and it's audited yearly, yet the data is deleted every 30 days, so there's nothing to audit after 1 month's time. There seems to be no limit to how much government will spend on these tracker toys for cops, and no limit on how many will be placed and where. The Sheriff's Department obviously has zero interest in protecting people's right to liberty or privacy. And Kelly and Chris, I think you forgot to mention that those getting abortions are protected. Women getting abortions are protected. I appreciate you people who serve as deputies. Can you just follow your oaths? It's not much to ask. And by the way, this is item 25, Nora. Understandable if you're confused with your own rearrangement of the items on the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. Now hear from the next caller.
Hey, Gambler here. Sorry, I got a little bit upset earlier after hearing about the horses and just hearing everything that you guys are doing messed up, and then you want to go ahead and have cameras all over watching every single move we make. Much like China. And it's not any surprising that fact that China also has CCP offices all over the place, which watch their people just as good, so they probably want to watch their people through that system. And you're probably linked up with them because, you know, they have the means to go ahead and fraud the election and get whoever they want elected in all the states that allow vote by mail readily available. And I wouldn't be surprised whoever gets elected is going to be the most popular president of the state. Now, I just pray that the registrar is smart enough not to certify the election based off of the complaints that I've said, based off of the restraining order that they gave me, and then we could start reversing these issues that China wants us to go down. I would really, really like you to give the people back their city, back their area. You are giving it away to foreign entities, and you're going to be held liable. I understand you're selected, but it also means that you are basically the mule. You're the one going to be holding the bag, and they're not going to be anywhere around to bail your asses out. So I highly recommend you making better choices instead of continuing down the path that you're making, because the more you dig, the deeper hole you're going to make. You could start reversing some of the issues that you made and try to get yourself out of jail. That would be like the optimal idea, but I don't think you guys are smart. So just words of advice, please, please, please do the right thing.
Thank you. And Chairwoman Vargas, that concludes public comment on this item.
Thank you. Supervisor Desmond.
Thank you, Chair. Thanks to the Sheriff's Department for your work on this, especially the robust community outreach, because I was afraid I was going to have the unincorporated areas all up in arms about Big Brother in there watching. But I really appreciate all the outreach. I understand you had over 30 meetings with people in the unincorporated area, so thank you very much. I'm very supportive of the Sheriff's Department using all the tools at their disposal to help combat crime. And I think this is a great tool that is going to do that. So thank you very much to all of our law enforcement officers for keeping us safe every day. I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Okay.
Supervisor Montgomery Steppe.
Thank you so much, Chairwoman Vargas. Thank you so much, Sheriff Martinez and your entire team for the report. I do see quite a few different technological advancements as helping us to fight crime, but also there always needs to be a balance of the privacy rights of every single individual, right? Especially with a lot of the issues that we are seeing now around reproductive rights, LGBTQ rights. And so I appreciate in the board letter you outlining that your policy is available online per SB 34, and also that the data is not shared across state or federal lines. I know that for that part in particular, there is some dispute around that, or different departments, different sheriff's departments in the state of California. So I just want to reiterate, based on what SB 34 says, the term public agency has been defined by the AG as public agencies or law enforcement agencies that are within the state of California. But I know that there are some sheriffs that don't necessarily agree with that. And I just, for the record, want to hear your insights on that, Sheriff Martinez, on where we land as a department as far as not sharing across state lines.
Yeah, thank you for that. And we're very aware of the privacy rights of individuals. And to Supervisor Desmond's point, we made a very concerted effort to incorporate all of our community stakeholders in these conversations. No one in another state other than California will have the ability to access our database. So that's what that means.
Thank you. Also, and I haven't spoken to the residents of Spring Valley as of yet about this particular technology. I don't think I saw them on the map, though. Is that a place where you were able to do any outreach?
Yes, thank you. We did do outreach in Spring Valley, and we've got a lot of support in all of our East County communities for this technology.
Okay, cool. So I think they would love to be just included on the map and in the board letter as a distinct neighborhood and community, but thank you very much.
Okay. With that, we have a motion and a second. I don't have any other comments. Sorry. Oh, sorry. Did anybody second it? No? Okay. I can go ahead and second it. All right, please vote.
Chairwoman Vargas, that motion passes with Supervisor Anderson voting no, all other supervisors being present and voting aye.
Thank you so much for your presentation. The next item on the agenda is the item that we're going to be listening concurrently, which is item number 9, 28, and 31. So as our team assembles, I just wanted to make sure that we took all of these items together, which is really an update on expanding mobilization against the Tijuana River sewage crisis, litigation, and continuation of emergency declaration. So it's, again, item number 9, 28, and 31. I'm going to turn it over to our team to go ahead and present, but the reason why it's so important for us to go ahead and hear this concurrently is because I know there's a lot of interest, and also I want to make sure that the communities are clear that the work that we're doing together, and Vice Chair Lawson-Remer, thank you for bringing item number 31 to us. It's important that we emphasize that this is absolutely a federal issue, but as local municipalities, we continue to be greatly impacted, and it's national issue, of course, and we continue to do everything that we can locally to solve this crisis with some short-term and long-term initiatives. And so I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Ebony so that we can make sure that we have a presentation on this item.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, Chairwoman Vargas and members of the board. As you know, San Diego communities in the South region have been negatively impacted by cross-border pollution from the Tijuana River Valley for years. These issues have especially been exacerbated over the past year, impacting the well-being and quality of life of residents, the environment, and the economy of San Diego County's highly diverse border region. Responding effectively to the Tijuana River Valley sewage crisis has required a coordinated, collaborative, and communicative approach, both among county departments as well as other impacted stakeholders. Under the leadership of the board, we remain committed to addressing the negative impacts of this issue on the region. Following months of continued declaration of local emergency, the board took action this June to expand the mobilization against this crisis, directing appropriate county staff to begin meeting with the Tijuana River Valley or the Tijuana River Pollution Task Force and to return with updates on the progress of this engagement. The collective county team is here today to provide you with an update on actions that have been taken up to this point. And with that, I'll turn it over to Caroline Smith, the Assistant Chief Administrative Officer, who also has been leading the county's coordinated response on this issue. Caroline?
Thank you, Ebony. While it's important to acknowledge that the failing sewage infrastructure is the core cause of the Tijuana River Valley sewage crisis, under the leadership of your board, the county has engaged various local, state, and federal jurisdictions and impacted stakeholders to mitigate the negative impacts of this issue on our communities. Among key local partners the county is working closely with is the San Diego County Air Pollution Control District, or APCD. As the region's lead agency responsible for monitoring and improving air quality in San Diego County, APCD was restructured following the passage of California Assembly Bill 423 in 2019. Though APCD is no longer under the purview of the county, you will hear more about its roles and responsibilities today and how our county departments collaborate with them on this response. Prior to the initially planned progress update to the board mentioned by Ebony, additional response was needed to address the ever-changing environment around this issue, as voiced by the community. On September 14th, 2024, the county began our incident command structure to further organize and maximize efficiencies of county operations in response to the local emergency. In addition to working with local partners, the county has also explored potential state and federal resources. In accordance with Board Policy M2, the county's Office of Economic Development and Government Affairs has authorized the county's support for the Border Water Quality, Restoration, and Protection Act of 2024 and the inclusion of language prioritizing projects in the Tijuana River Valley in the final version to the appropriate members of Congress and the federal administration. This would designate the Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, as the agency in charge to coordinate efforts to end the water pollution crisis in the Tijuana River Valley and the subsequent restoration of the local environment. The authorization language would also prioritize U.S. Army Corps of Engineers projects in the Tijuana River Valley watershed to address pollution and bring in critically needed resources to our region. These are only a few examples of the focused and holistic approach we've taken in response to this issue. Joining me today to provide information on the planned updates, recent response, and ongoing efforts are Dr. Elizabeth Hernandez, the county's Public Health Services Director, Dr. Ankita Kadakia, Interim Public Health Officer, and Heather Bonamo, Division Director for Environmental Health. I'll now turn it over to Dr. Hernandez.
Thank you, Caroline. Good morning, Chairwoman Vargas and members of the board. The history of transboundary pollution crisis goes back probably close to 100 years. The Tijuana River Valley and the South County sewage border on the 70s and 80s, there was resulting in further impacts to the South County communities. To mitigate this issue, in the 1990s, the International Treatment Plant was built on the United States side to treat the sewage from Mexico. However, due to the increased population growth in Mexico, as well as deferred maintenance, this plant is not able to adequately treat the sewage.
The broken sewage infrastructure on both sides of our southern border have caused billions of gallons of raw sewage to flow through the Tijuana River Valley and into the ocean. As a result, South Region residents have experienced a multitude of symptoms. We recognize that the residents in South Region are experiencing a diminished quality of life and health symptoms due to the broken infrastructure. Bottom line, no one should be exposed to sewage. Our county team has been working to solve the pollution issues in the Tijuana River Valley for decades. As you can see on this timeline, which only highlights some of the important efforts that has occurred in the past 10 years, there has been a significant effort across the county enterprise. I'll highlight a couple on this slide. Starting in 2015, the county partnered with the Regional Quality Control Board and other agencies on a strategy to clean up the River Valley. In 2017, the county initiated the SB 507 study that identified 27 projects needed to address the cross-border pollution, which was later endorsed by the board in 2019. In 2018, the county started daily beach water quality monitoring on all South County beaches, and in 2022, the county launched a new testing method called ddPCR that provides same-day and more accurate results to beachgoers. In June 2023, the board declared the Tijuana River Valley sewage a local emergency on environmental and economic impacts, which continues every 60 days. And in May 2024, the chairwoman and the previous public health officer requested a CDC EPI aid in an effort to bring CDC assistance to the region. Since May 2024, there continues to be significant response activities, which will be discussed in this presentation. The response to the local emergency is an all-hands-on-deck effort with multiple governmental agencies at the local, state, and federal level involved, as well as key academic, health, community, and school partners. We are appreciative of all of the collaboration and efforts put forth by so many with a unified goal of helping the South Region community. Amongst the many partners, it is important to note that the Air Pollution Control District, or APCD, is the organization responsible by statute for local air monitoring and air quality. As a public health authority, our role in the county is to provide public health messaging and actions based on APCD's data, promote prevention, beach testing and alerting, monitor health-related data, investigate, and respond. Public health and environmental health services' core purpose is to protect and improve the health of communities by focusing on 4 essential strategies. These strategies include prevention, surveillance, investigation and response, coordination, collaboration, and communication. These tried and true strategies are used to respond to the Tijuana River Valley sewage emergencies. In the next few slides, we will discuss the significant response activities categorized by each strategy. Prevention has always been a priority in our response. Through the Beach and Bay program, people can easily know if the water is safe for recreational use. We've provided community outreach and education on the crisis and issued a health alert to local health providers. Lastly, we conducted a focused academic detailing effort where healthcare providers in South Bay received information about the sewage impacts and health symptoms, with the goal of improving patient care and reporting to the County Public Health Department. And now I will turn it over to Dr. Ankita Kadakia, Interim Public Health Officer, who will speak about surveillance, investigation, and response efforts.
Thank you, Dr. Hernandez. Over 80 communicable diseases and conditions are reported to the health department by healthcare providers and laboratories. A robust surveillance system also utilizes symptom-based data as an early warning system to catch disease trends before an outbreak occurs. This system has been applauded by the state health department. Using real-time surveillance methods, including embedding a public health physician in a South Bay urgent care clinic, we were able to conduct exposure surveys, chart review of patients reporting gastrointestinal symptoms, and analyzing data in real time to help identify disease trends. Similarly, we are in a process of obtaining data from South Bay community clinics and a health system to evaluate past disease trends. We are also working with the Health Information Exchange to explore the feasibility of expanding our syndromic surveillance to include community clinic data. In the meantime, we have been meeting with the community clinics in South Bay on a monthly basis. We are also looked at school absenteeism data for disease trends around gastrointestinal illness. And we've expanded our surveillance efforts to include asthma and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease and update our data weekly on our website. As a response to the EpiAid investigation request, the county worked for months with the California Department of Public Health and the CDC on the development of a CASPR, or Community Assessment for Public Health Emergency Response. CASPRs have been used in the Flint water crisis and the Deepwater Horizon oil spill. The CASPR is a way to collect non-reportable data in a validated scientific methodology developed by the CDC and adapted by the World Health Organization. Over 40 county staff and UCSD preventive medicine residents went door to door to nearly 7,000 houses in South Region to provide information about the CASPR assessment in early October. During October 17th to 19th, over 60 CDC, county staff, and SDSU School of Public Health students and UCSD preventative medicine residents conducted the household assessments. The information collected will provide household-level information on physical health, mental health, and quality of life data. The timeline for final results will be based on CDC analysis and clearance, but CDC has provided preliminary results. The county has also been working extensively with a second federal agency, the Agency for Toxic Substances and Disease Registry, or ATSDR, to conduct an assessment of chemical exposure, or ACE survey. ACE surveys were used in the Flint water crisis in Michigan and in the East Palestine, Ohio train derailment, where chemicals were released. The ACE survey helps collect individual level data focusing on people who work in high exposure areas or come in frequent contact with contaminated water and sewage pollution, including lifeguards, fishermen, military, and businesses along the beaches. The online survey started on October 21st and is open until November 22nd. Information, including the QR code to take the survey, is available on our South Region Health Concerns website. Results will depend on ATSDR's analysis and clearance timeline. The online survey started on October 21st and is open until November 22nd. Information, including this QR code, is available. The above map references the area covered by the ACE survey, and results, again, will depend on ATSDR's analysis. In addition to coordinating with federal agencies for the two mentioned surveys, the county also meets regularly with Air Pollution Control District, or APCD. The county has expanded our team to include 2 medical toxicologists, including from UCSD and CDPH. We requested South Coast Air Quality Management District to support APCD, which they did with on-site testing and technical assistance and guidance. We provided our hazardous incidents response team expertise for urgent concerns around gases. Based on the board's direction, we are in the process of distributing the second round of air purifiers. Lastly, regarding one area of the Tijuana River Valley where higher levels of gas emissions have been detected due to the flow dynamics and a several-foot drop, we've been working with the Navy and the City of San Diego, who both have jurisdiction in that area, to explore potential emergency mitigation. Coordination, collaboration, and communication are the heart of what we do every day to protect public health and support thriving communities. This has been especially important in response to this emergency. With respect to communication efforts, we updated the county's website to be even more comprehensive and have an email address for questions. The county has produced lots of media, proactive news stories, and social media, including on HHSA's Instagram account. This information and more have been shared with the county's community health workers and promotores to share with the South Bay community, South Bay clinics, and South Bay schools. We've been working diligently with the South Bay School District leadership and the San Diego County Office of Education. With their feedback incorporated, we have a dedicated webpage with information specifically for schools. This includes resources, schools guidance document, how to report air quality concerns, and educational materials in multiple languages. We've also created resource documents on sewage safety and environmental odors in your health in multiple languages that we have shared with community partners, schools, and clinics, including in our regular South Bay federally qualified health centers and clinics meetings. Now we will provide updates on task force activities and the 7 recommendations outlined in the board letter expanding mobilization against the Tijuana River sewage crisis as directed by the San Diego County Board of Supervisors on June 25, 2024. The first request addresses assisting the Tijuana River Valley Task Force with the launch of a community health survey to assess community illnesses in South Bay. Public Health Services requested involvement on June 20th, 2024 to participate in survey development and methodology, which was already under development by San Diego State University. The county and Tijuana River Valley Task Force met for the first time on July 23rd, 2024. The county received access to the survey on July 26, 2024. After receiving task force permission, the county shared the survey with the California Department of Public Health for its independent review. The county returned our survey feedback, merged with CDPH feedback on the due date of August 9th, 2024. SDSU initial target release date was August 15th, 2024, and the survey was released last week. In the spirit of collaboration, the county also invited SDSU to contribute to the CDC EPI-8 investigation, including the CASPER survey. Number 2 was development of a Tijuana River public health risk dashboard. At the July 23rd task force meeting, the dashboard concept was discussed. It was agreed that a more informationally encompassing landing page was needed and would be potentially hosted by an academic institution such as SDSU. The county has enhanced the South Region Health Concerns webpage to be more comprehensive, including FAQs, surveillance data, information for schools, information about federal surveys, links to APCD's website, and links to other relevant sites. We've also partnered with UCSD to develop an easy-to-use online resource which will have multiple types of data on one page, including general air monitoring, hydrogen sulfide air monitoring, beach testing, air quality complaint, and other data. I would like to now turn it over to Heather Bonomo, Director of the Department of Environmental Health and Quality.
Thank you, Dr. Kadakia. Number 3 calls for decontamination protocols for sewage-contaminated floodwater in public spaces. The county researched and reviewed protocols and disinfectants appropriate for public spaces and preferred signage for areas flooded by sewage-contaminated water. This information was used to develop resource guidance for local agencies to build their own protocols. An FAQ document for the Tijuana River Valley sewage situation was created and posted on the South Region Health Concerns webpage with updates posted as needed. Flyers in English and Spanish with information on sewage exposure and safety were developed and posted online, as well as distributed with the 414 air purifiers purchased by the county for South Region residents and delivered in August of 2024. Number 4 is to collaborate with the task force to develop a list of existing data sources that are relevant to tracking sewage-associated non-reportable diseases. As shared previously, the county has explored additional sources of non-reportable diseases, including syndromic surveillance, ICD-10 coding data, and school data. Meetings held with South Bay clinics included feasibility of non-reportable data collection. As discussed in May 2024, the county requested a CDC EPI-8 investigation and held several meetings with the CDC to discuss the EPI-8 goals and objectives. EPI-8 is a short-term, rapid response effort to help public health authorities investigate public health concerns. Because of these efforts, last week, CDC launched 2 significant health surveys to assess the health impacts in the Tijuana River Valley. Number 5 was to request zip code level data from the California Breathing Program. The county has requested and received the most current zip code level data. However, the data is only available through 2022. This data was compared to local syndromic surveillance data of asthma visits to the emergency departments that the county had already shared and found to be consistently similar for it to be used as more real-time data source for monitoring asthma. The county has added asthma syndromic surveillance data to the South Bay Bulletin, a weekly updated report on South Bay Health Concerns website. Number 6 addresses enhanced water quality testing and enhanced communication from other agencies, including the San Diego Regional Water Quality Control Board. As shared previously, the county monitors beach water quality daily and issues water contact closures during sewage and pollutant events. Reopening water access is based on the CDPH-approved DD-PCR testing. We've requested enhanced surveillance and water quality testing, as well as fish and shellfish testing from other agencies, including the San Diego Regional Water Quality Control Board, the Office of Environmental Health Hazard Analysis, and the State Water Resource Control Board. We've supported task force members on information needed to gain right-of-way for environmental sampling, and the county has met with APCD, CDC, ASTDR, and the US EPA to review and discuss water and air sampling data and increased communication to the public on air quality conditions. Number 7 is for additional funding to fix the sewage infrastructure. The county continues to work with the task force, elected officials, CDPH, and CDC to bring awareness to the Tijuana River Valley sewage crisis as a means of bringing increased funding to the region for the necessary repairs. The county shares frustrations over the broken federal sewage infrastructure system, which is the root cause of the ongoing health, air, and water concerns. As shared at the beginning of the presentation, we know that exposure to sewage is not good for human health, and we continue to support efforts of the county's declared local emergency to fix the root cause, the failing sewage infrastructure. While there are still opportunities to support the South Bay community, we will continue to take a collective impact approach and work collaboratively with all partners to identify and work towards immediate, short-term, and long-term solutions. This concludes the presentation, and staff is available for questions.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and open up public comment.
So I'll just note discussion item. Speaker will be allowing individuals being heard concurrent items. And 8 3 items we received in favor. 1. Items 9 into the conference. We'll begin with this item on the arrows forward. Your name for the audio.
My name is Jarrell, your county employee, a U221, a resident, taxpayer, and a voter. The river has been a problem for workers represented in their work have come up with has spoke to us about physical effects of working in that condition, including headaches, nausea, nosebleeds, and having to use their own sick time to recover from this hostile environment. The pollution crisis, not surprisingly, hit unserved areas, making the counter response even more critical. We support doing whatever it takes to improve this situation. We encourage the county to continue to take a leadership role to fix this problem and halt ongoing pollution. The louder the squeaky wheel, the more oil it will receive. We must be proactive, much louder, so we can stop this situation. We must hold pollutions people accountable to make where we live and work a safe and clean place. It is not just a federal job. It is the county that needs to be louder on this. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. As the next speaker is coming forward. Okay, thank you. I'd like to invite forward the speakers in opposition, Mark, Oliver Twist, and Catherine Rhodes. Again, these are the first 3 speakers. Welcome to come forward in any order.
Hello, Catherine Rhodes, and of course, I turned in the wrong sheet. I'm in support of all the items. I just accidentally did that wrong. So anyway, I wanted to tell you, especially Supervisor Nora Vargas, do not be afraid of the EPA Superfund National Priority List status. Please ask the people of Flint, Michigan, how much new cash came into the area and how their problem was solved. Private people. The best part of Superfund site is that the EPA creates a public library that everyone would have, including being able to see those secret Otay Mesa wastewater treatment plants reports that they refuse to allow people to have or people to see. We could actually see them through the EPA Superfund. So anyway, as the lead agency, they can actually talk to the State Department. And I say that, you know, President Trump said he wants to negotiate a new United States-Mexico-Canada agreement. Where's Vice President Kamala Harris? Why isn't she negotiating?
So, Ms. Catherine, just a reminder, we're not talking about the item of the Superfund today, but feel free to continue.
Okay, no, I'm talking about the Tijuana River pollution item. If I could have like 5 seconds back. So, you know, I'm scared about the election. Why haven't you guys brought in Kamala Harris to come in here? Jim Desmond actually brought in Vice President candidate J.D. Vance. That was great. Oh, yeah, I know.
Excuse me, sir. I'm going to give you this as your first notice for, you know, not following the guidelines. So I'm just warning you, it's your first warning, sir, because you're disturbing. You get 3 warnings, so that was your first one, okay? All right, so there's your second one, sir. That's your second warning. On your third warning for disrupting the meeting, I'm going to ask you to leave. Understood?
And if I could get maybe 20 more seconds, because I've been, you know, things have been taken out for me. So anyway, Kamala Harris, she could come here and be a leader. I'm scared for the election. Why aren't you saying, please come here? Please stop this pollution. Make it a big, huge deal. She has done absolutely nothing. I always say, what have you done for me lately? Nothing. On the border. She could actually, this could be a positive thing. I say even go ask our strong mayor, Todd Gloria, to ask his friend Kamala Harris to come here and give us something. Give us a 2,200 Border Patrol agents that we need also so we can secure the border. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Mark, I'm not actually against litigation to fix this. However, the way they're doing it, I don't like. Tara Lawson-Remer in a recent interview mentioned the Inter-American Development Bank, CWICI. They didn't, by the way, our government didn't charge interest for any of our debts before 1913, which is the real reason probably that Abraham Lincoln was killed. So she mentioned the Inter-American Development Bank and the World Bank. The Inter-American Development Bank was established in 1959 by OAS. With the thrust toward globalization in the 1990s, the OAS stated priorities include the following. The developing countries that borrow from the IDB are majority shareholders and therefore control the majority of the decision-making bodies of the bank. Each member's voting power is determined by its shareholding, its subscription to the bank's ordinary capital. The United States holds 30% of the bank's shares, while the countries of Latin America and Caribbean combined hold 50.02%, with another 20% from Europe. The U.S. can veto decision.
On the items before?
Yes, this is absolutely on the item. This is what Tara was mentioned, and this is who would be funding her solution. So other countries have more voting power, and our sovereignty is destroyed, just like Rosa Corey says in her videos. This is another scam changing our Constitution. The way you guys act like you're correcting everything always screws our government up. Screws the people over anyway. It may be helpful for some people in government to make money off it. This was Tara in a recent interview, and I don't know why Tara would think that mentioning the World Bank on her resume is good for this job, applying for this job. It's not.
Thank you. As the next speaker is coming forward, I'd like to invite the remaining speakers in person. Adam Lisberg, allegedly Audra, and Randy Frund. I've called your name. Please come forward.
Hi, good morning. Oliver Twist. So I am in actually support of the support you're giving the South Bay community. They have endured this far too long. Thank you for highlighting that. What I oppose is the continued, is the affirmative litigation portion, and that is Tara continually going after a new, whatever new deep pocket she can find. Again, when we go in later for, I think it's item 30, the fiscal, I continue to highlight that where this county is going on a fiscal cliff. 1.9 billion increase and 30% increase in budget is not sustainable. So I see this more as a ploy to go after another deep pocket. And the real question is, why are you not going after the right person? You keep wanting to go after Veolia, but why not go after Mexico, where this is actually starting? They had money to build a new port of entry. They had money to, my understanding, build some kind of new road down to Playas. And so I'm asking you to please hold Mexico accountable. If this was Orange County, you absolutely would not give Orange County a pass for poisoning the people in Oceanside. Why is Mexico getting a pass? So please, if you are going to go forward with litigation, sue Mexico, because this is a binational environmental crisis. They are not only poisoning people on our side of the border, they are poisoning their own people. So please, thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hi, Supervisors, Chair Vargas, Vice Chair Lawson-Remmer, Supervisor Anderson, Supervisor Desmond, Supervisor Montgomery-Stepp. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Adam Lisberg. I'm with Veolia, the company that's operated the South Bay International Wastewater Treatment Plant for almost 30 years, working on contract to the International Boundary and Water Commission. We strongly disagree with the claims that our work at the plant has been somehow been the cause of the environmental problems there. And we need to defend our employees at the plant. They're San Diego County residents who they literally serve as the front line against the uncontrolled sewage and mud and debris that is coming across the border from Mexico. They're very upset at being blamed for the problem that they try to stop every day. As you well know, as you heard again today, the underlying problems in the region are the uncontrolled flows from Mexico and the dilapidated conditions at the plant. Veolia has for years recommended additional federal funding to repair and expand and upgrade that plant. That has not happened. The IBWC acknowledges this. There is a new inflow of federal funding finally doing serious work there. We know that many of you have advocated for that, and we truly appreciate it. It's going to make a difference. But in the meantime, our employees are literally facing this themselves. No one can properly operate a wastewater treatment plant when the flood breaks pumps, breaks equipment, fills up the tanks. We ask you to please come visit the plant yourselves. See for yourself what our people have to deal with their own two hands, rather than voting to approve this motion. Attacking our company is a distraction from the real root causes that we've all heard about here. Please take us up on the opportunity to come see this yourselves. We would be glad to have this opportunity for yourselves. Please don't take it out on our employees. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Mark, this is your first warning. You're disrupting the meeting.
Randy, Veolia, Maintenance Manager, South Bay International. I again extend the invite. Please come check out what we do. It's just the day-to-day operations on how we deal with the dilapidated plant, the bubble gum and duct tape we have to use to put it together, because we have no federal funding. We've been at this for years, and I'm glad we made a lot of progress in this last couple, 9-8 months, whatever it is, but it's not going to fix the problem. Even if we do all the expansion, do the plant upgrades, we have nothing to do with the Tijuana River. That's your main source of pollution. It is not the South Bay International plant. And if you have no flow in the river, all they're doing is pumping around the corner and letting it out the coast, and it comes up the tide. It is not South Bay International. You know, we take offense to all this litigation. We work our butts off out there. And just, please, come check it out. Come see what we do hand in hand every day. And that's all I got.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
The person uses the name Audra. On the surface, it looks good, right? You're doing all this data collection and whatnot. And I mean, can you believe you're saying no one should be exposed to sewage? But then we're going to give it back to you in your drinking water. It's okay. It's just kind of funny how that works, right? I mean, don't get in it, but just ingest it, and with all these other chemicals. And, you know, it's just interesting with this litigation because it's like, this should be going after all of you guys. But instead you're going after people that are trying to fix the problem, actually, and not just, you know, placate as though they are. But why would you go after Mexico, Nora? Why would you do that? You can't do that because that's your familia, right? And it's like, we got to have a good relationship with Mexico so they can keep flooding the border and helping us, assisting us do that, right? Oh, because all we care about is commerce and the billions of dollars. We don't want to ruin our relationship with Mexico. It's hilarious. It's hilarious to think that you guys, you know, do these things and you're like, it's been decades and now we're going to sue somebody because we're not seeing it fast enough. Well, you should be sued because you're not doing it fast enough. And now you're going after literally people that are actually trying to do something. And they're like, we don't have any funding. But you're like, that's okay, we're going to sue you anyway. Because we can't sue Mexico, that's my hometown. And so, I mean, money is the name of the game, right? As long as you guys get money in your pockets, you're like, we're gonna pretend to do a bunch of busy work, collect data on people that are actually sick, to pretend like we're doing something. So what a good reason to like keep the problem going, right? So you can collect your data, Tara. Tara loves data. It's all about data collection. Yes, it's funny, huh? I know, don't laugh. Don't let people know that's funny.
Thank you. We'll now hear from the individuals that requested to speak by phone. When it is your turn to speak, you will be unmuted and you will hear a recording that will tell you to begin your comments after the beep. Or remind the callers they should mute their TV or live video stream before they begin speaking. We will begin with our first caller.
Right, all aboard. It's not a bad idea to renew the emergency, which has been going on for 30 years. Listen to all the people telling you there's an emergency, which we all knew years ago. We have enough evidence and resources to do some or all of this cleanup work ourselves. Volunteers, interested parties, let's have a we can do it attitude. It looks like we may be doing what we thought we couldn't, solving the TJ River Valley pollution mess ourselves. ABC News on October 2nd reported that some residents in South Bay said the smell is actually improving a bit. And Mexico's actually doing a great job. We do not need a Superfund site here. We have too many agencies running into each other, each telling the other what permits and procedures they need. It's totally out of control. Too many hands in the pot. I've suggested at least 4 things. You have forwarded several of my suggestions on, but I have never heard a firm yes or no on them. We should have a status report on all of these cleanup suggestions. Veolia, the operator of the treatment plant, which Tara once again mentioned suing, is already being sued. Lawsuits by Imperial Beach and Chula Vista, along with the Port of San Diego, also the City of San Diego, and the San Diego Regional Water Quality Control Board, the State Lands Commission, and the Surfrider Foundation.
Thank you. We'll now hear from the next caller.
Good afternoon, Chairwoman Vargas and Supervisors. My name is Molly Bailey, and I am the Legislative Fellow for the San Diego County Air Pollution Control District. Over the last several months, SDAPCD has greatly expanded its efforts to respond to the Tijuana River Valley sewage crisis. Since mid-July, SDAPCD has received over 2,200 public complaints of odors from the Tijuana River, by far the most we have ever received for a single source. As a result, we have issued 2 notices of violation to the International Boundary and Water Commission for causing a public nuisance due to prior equipment failures and lack of maintenance. We have also expanded our monitoring efforts in the area to provide more precise data regarding levels of hydrogen sulfide. We currently have reference grade monitors for hydrogen sulfide in the communities of San Ysidro and Nestor, and anticipate citing a 3rd monitor in Imperial Beach by the end of next week. Hourly readings from the monitors are available on our website, and a public-facing dashboard with those readings is being developed. And in partnership with the county, the California Department of Public Health, and the CDC Agency for Toxic Substances and Disease Registry, we are developing a public odor advisory system and guidance which corresponds to the dashboard, and which will provide more information for the public as to what precautionary actions to take when the odors get strong. And as we mentioned at your meeting on October 8th, we are in the process of developing a program to procure and distribute up to 10,000 air purifiers for residents of the Tijuana River Valley. We anticipate the first distribution event to occur in early December. SDAPCD understands the urgency of the situation and is working to do what we can within our jurisdiction and mandates to respond to this crisis, including our efforts to provide data and information for agency partners and public, as well as the limited resources.
Thank you. Now hear from the next caller.
Consuelo. So what's happening? What's happening regarding the TJ sewage issue is due only to the failure of our local government. The only constant this local government is of their epic failures. They are infamous for their deferred maintenance within our county, constantly dropping the ball. It's just, as far as what that brother just mentioned from the South Bay International, blah, 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 they need a scapegoat, and they're using you guys. When you say there's no federal funding, that's where I trust you, unlike this local corrupt government. And, and as far as the woman who mentioned you got to do whatever it takes, be careful what you ask for, dear lady, because they will do whatever the hell they want on our dime. And speaking of dime, how much money has been made from this issue for decades? There's been so many profiting off of this, while there have been way more paying dearly for this issue. It's all about money. That's all it's about. Control of the vulnerable who are distracted with just trying to keep up. Again, this is all in lockstep with the UN agenda. What else do I have to say? This is just, again, for decades, there's been just funds, time, and technology to address this pollution issue, and it's not a new emergency. It's considered new because it's serving its purpose. Everything is being purposely, out of control and right on track with the agenda, and they have purposely allowed for this. That is the bottom line. They really have. And how can I make such accusations, right? Because all of their pieces are in play, and you can see it.
Thank you. Now hear from the next caller.
Pam, no on number 31. Let's review history. On September 9th, San Diego University and UC San Diego announced high levels of hydrogen sulfide and hydrogen cyanide. The next day, September 10th, the county held a press conference during which Norris stated, "It smells horrible, but it's safe." And amazingly, the county health study presented in support of Norris' statement. It would appear this press conference attempted to negate and dispute the results found by the local universities. Why the discrepancies in findings? What happened here? A lot of theater? Nora, how were you convinced the garbage and waste are no longer safe and are now a threat? Nora and Tara won a lawsuit and both signed Agenda Item 31 documenting the Tijuana River crisis is an environmental, public health, and national security threat due to poor maintenance of decades by both sides of the border. This document declares Mexico a responsible party. Am I missing something? Is there no plan for this lawsuit to be against Tijuana or Mexico? Where is your allegiance? The status of the binational relationship cannot be a high priority now given the adverse impact on American citizens and county residents, the real-life people, Americans you purport to want to help. There's no chance for an immediate result in resolution with a lawsuit, but it allows those who favor a lawsuit to appear to have done something without taking any other specific action, directing blame elsewhere for lack of a solution. Have prior board members and elitists benefited in some way, perhaps financially? Will any of you benefit if this problem continues? Maybe it's a good idea to visit Veolia.
Thank you. Now hear from the next caller.
Mitch Silverstein here, San Diego County Policy Manager for Surfrider Foundation. On behalf of Surfrider Foundation and over 4,000 members in San Diego County, we strongly support affirmative litigation to fight for a faster fix for the Tijuana River pollution crisis. Given the size and scope of the pollution and the suffering it's causing to entire communities in South San Diego, Coronado, Imperial Beach, and beyond, we ask for your support on this item. Regardless of whether your district includes affected communities or not, we all need to stand in solidarity to demand solutions to our county's worst pollution crisis. Exploring potential county litigation, whether it could move the needle or bring about faster short-term solutions, is a very reasonable step. Please support this item. Thank you for standing up for clean water and healthy communities.
Thank you. Now hear from the next caller.
Gambler here. You know, Nora, you already admitted the fact that you've been working on this for 30 years. The solution that you have now is getting more money and actually fixing the problem because the problem got so big that you could possibly seize land. I find that fucked up. I stand with the people that are going ahead and trying to fix the problem and all that stuff, that you've been cutting their funding to prevent them from doing that so that you could sue them and fix the problem. This shit needs to stop now. And I'm serious. I did not press any I did not go after you guys for law for what you guys have done to me and all that stuff. You even put me in jail for 3 years, and I'm still kind of opposed to it. But the second that mind changes, I'm going to go after the county for everything. For everything that you did to me to prevent me from getting information out about election fraud, allow you covering it up in particularly, and the fact that you spent 30 years profiting off of the people, and then and then now they're getting asthma, and asthma is a terrible way to fucking die, and I know that's the way I'm going to die because I have asthma. I was in asthma and allergy studies way back when. That's what gave me the fear of friggin' needles. So don't give me this shit anymore. Please, fix the problem. Don't take people's lands. Give them what they need to fix the problem and start working with Mexico to get the problem actually fixed. Instead of profiting off of it and profiting off of our suffering. This is bullshit. I expect to see something done within the next month.
Thank you. Now hear from the next caller.
It's truth. Don't hold your breath on that. On CBS, Tara said we don't need to wait to study the negative effects of an EPA Superfund. Exactly what someone who doesn't care about this crisis would love for people to believe. Tara, what have you done for the last 4 years lately? Nothing. That public health declaration, the local emergency proclamation, writing letters to Newscom or the head lobotomy-in-chief, APCD's air sensors, Nora and Ankita's lies, air purifiers, and the lying CDC have all achieved nothing. If it doesn't hold Mexico accountable by all means necessary, this issue's never going to end. Tara's and her father's lying friend Juan Vargas's idea of paying for Mexico's infrastructure will enable Mexico to never fix their own sewage. A Superfund will only hold local cities financially accountable, not Mexico. A future Sandag Otay Mesa East toll will enable Mexico to keep growing and polluting more. And a world design capital scam puts a pretty PR face on the real crisis. Real change comes from sanctioning Mexico, boycotting Mexican products, withholding toll money from Mexico, and openly denouncing Newscomb and no longer supporting him on any issue. Simple choice, free trade fascism or Americans. If a county could sue a French company, then why not sue Mexico, the state of California, and the federal government? Suing corporations achieves nothing tangible. Frivolous lawsuits mean more money for the county to mismanage and misdirect. And if Villalobos is allegedly to blame for events in Michigan, Oklahoma, and Pennsylvania, then why the heck did IBWC hire them? And why didn't anyone anywhere oppose them? In the Flint water crisis, Villalobos claimed they raised an alarm about potential lead and copper issues, but that it was the city that said to exclude it from testing because the EPA was going to test it, aka the same thing that could happen under a Superfund scenario. So I will be exposing Tara's lies to all of the South Bay before the vote on that EPA Superfund involuntary land acquisition scam. I can promise you that. You will be exposed.
Thank you. And Chairwoman Vargas, that concludes public comment on the concurrent items 9, 28, and 31.
Thank you. So first and foremost, I just want to say thank you to all of our team under Health and Human Services. Particularly, I want to, we didn't talk about all the work that we're doing around, we didn't go into it too much around the testing that we're doing in the beaches and all the other work that we did as a result of the advocacy from our actual communities in the district. And so I want to say thank you for everything that's been, all of the work that all of you have been leading in the last 4 years since I've been here. And I know we declared a public health care crisis in 2021, and we did that knowing that it would allow us to really direct efforts both from the environmental team and also the public health team to do the work. And so I appreciate the timeline today. I want to emphasize that the work is taking place with partnership with Mexico, between the U.S. and Mexico, and there have been some efforts that we've worked very closely with, and the repairs and expansion is in process now as we speak, from 25 million. To 50 million gallons per day. San Antonio de los Buenos is in the process of being ready so that the impact that is taking place in our communities, happens. It can't happen fast enough, but it's absolutely a priority for us. I want to make sure that I emphasize that the work that the county has done has been at a different level, right? We've prioritized the removal of sediments, and all of the work that we've done in the community, particularly around the Tijuana River Valley, has been as a result of community input, community engagement. And one of the things that we did at the beginning was create a task force that was providing an opportunity for folks to identify what they wanted us to do. And so I just want to remind folks that we've been really working hard and have been true partners with the city of San Diego. We've taken the lead on many of these things around the sediment and debris from Smuggler's Gulch, the pilot channel, and the restoration of the Brown Property Project. All of these things impact the area, as well as allocating funding from ARPA for improvement of Spooner's Mesa to fix the culvert that was undermining road access, among other projects. And I do visit the area often and have been to the plant specifically this year as well. So this is not something that we're taking lightly, and that it's not me sitting in my office trying to figure out what else we can do, but this is really partnership with the community to move forward and do this work. In 2023, we declared an emergency, as it has been mentioned, and earlier this year, we asked the CDC to investigate the public health impacts of the sewage. And I want to just mention today that I'm grateful for all the work that has been done, for being able to have the CDC this last weekend. They finished the work in terms of gathering the information for the first phase of it. The second phase right now is the assessment for chemical exposure that is going to be very focused on specifically the folks in the actual beaches, like our lifeguards, the businesses, the folks that are actually impacted on a day-to-day basis. I want to just remind the public that if all this information is confidential, but please share, because we need to know what has been the impact, how many doctors have you seen, all of that, because we need to be able to get that information so that we are able to address and gather additional resources so we can move forward. And so that survey is going to continue up until November 22nd, and I want to make sure we do everything we can to gather that information. In addition to that, we recognize that there's a need for a local emergency, so I'll be supporting that again today so that we can continue to really address this and tackle it from a crisis perspective. And then at the last board meeting, requested that we make sure that we get the update on all the different tools that are available for us. One thing that I wanted to make sure that I'm asking as we're looking at these legal options, want to make sure that I better understand in the report back, right? Whether when we're doing litigation, is there a way to make sure that some of the funding goes directly to the maintenance and infrastructure issues that we're trying to address? Because in the end, that is the root cause of the problem, right? The infrastructure need on both sides of the border, but including on our side of the border as well. And so I want to make sure that some of those items and those some opportunities are available as well. So with that, I want to, again, thank my colleagues. I know that all of you have been working really hard, and this is an issue that not only impacts the South Bay, but the county as a whole. So appreciate all of the work. And so with that, I would like to make a motion to accept the recommendations for actions in items number 9, 28, and 31.
I'd be happy to second.
Thank you. All right, with that, Supervisor Desmond.
Well, thank you very much, Madam Chair. Appreciate it, and appreciate all the comments and the input here today. I'm going to be supporting the item. It says potentially to explore options to file a legal complaint or join existing litigation against any potential responsible parties. And then it goes on to say such as, but not limited to. So this basically, we're asking staff to come back within 90 days to explore options to file. Now, I've never sued another country. I have no idea if that's even legit or how that would work. But the request is to explore any potential responsible parties for the problem that we have. And I know this, we've been working on it for years, decades, and on this issue, we haven't solved it yet, but I don't think we should give up either. So we got to be exploring all options, and maybe the light will come on as we keep going. But giving up is not an option for this today. So I'm going to be supporting it, and I appreciate all the time and effort that has gone into it. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Chair Lawson-Remer.
Thank you so much. So first, I just appreciate all the work of our county team to collaborate with all of our community partners who, obviously bring so much expertise. And I know we've made great progress. Really appreciate the update on this task force report. But also just beyond this, all the work that's being done on Casper, this just sort of so much that I think we've now stepped up to the plate on. And I just want us to continue leaning into those partnerships. I know they can be difficult, but they're just so important, and really hope that we can see us move forward, especially on developing some data sharing agreements, especially with our research partners, and make sure that, us as a county and our community as a whole has every ability to understand in real time what's going on. So thank you for this update and all the work on the task force and more broadly, and hopefully we can hammer out any remaining challenges on that. I really want to focus most of my remarks around the litigation. I think we all have seen for decades and decades the billions of gallons of sewage and toxins flowing into the Tijuana River and contaminating our beaches and coastlines. And this, most immediately impacts residents of the South Bay, but it is a regional issue. People in my district, from Coronado all the way really north to La Jolla, are complaining about skin rashes and infections from being surfing and swimming in polluted waters. So this is when I ask residents of my district what they say is their number one concern, the Tijuana River Valley, and really trying to get to the bottom of the solution is top of everyone's mind, even in Carlsbad, where you would think maybe that's far away, but this is my district's a coastal district, and it's sort of central to everyone's understanding of how we better protect the natural resources that make San Diego so special, which is our beaches. It's why I think a lot of us live here, is because we all love our beaches. So, I think for a long time, we've seen all these violations, and I think it's important to uplift what the chairwoman said, which is that we are making progress. A lot of progress has been made in Mexico and with the repairs they're making, and moving forward with making repairs. But it's not enough. It's not fast enough. There's still more to be done. And since 2019, there have been over 500 violations with illegal wastewater discharges into the Pacific Ocean. And we know that 130 of these include extremely hazardous and banned chemicals like DDT and PCBs. So we have to continue doing everything we can to push those entities with power and responsibility to actually take action to fix this crisis and protect our communities. So Veolia North America is a private corporation that's been contracted to operate the plant for the past 30 years. And they're ultimately responsible for the maintenance and repairs. They have a concerning history of water scandals, including their role in the Flint water crisis. So I think zooming back, it's important to see things in a pattern, that this may not be an isolated incident. There's other instances in places like Pittsburgh and Oklahoma. So I think that there's a lot more we can do. I'll be very interested in the report back from County Council on options. I want to uplift my colleague Jim Desmond's point that, there's lots of potential defendants in this case, and I wouldn't be adverse to us looking at pursuing actions potentially under ICSID or NAFTA, which would then engage Mexico in addition to sort of litigation against Veolia and private companies. So, I think we're looking for every possibility. We know there are a number of active lawsuits that we could already explore joining. And I think our leadership would bring the resources and expertise to win this fight. So hope to have the support of my colleagues today. Really grateful for the partnership of the chairwoman on these items, and thank you very much.
All right, with that, we have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Chairwoman Vargas, that motion passes unanimously with all supervisors being present and voting aye.
Thank you. All right, with that, we're going to go ahead and take a recess and be back at 1:15. Thank you.
Board is in recess until 1:15 this afternoon.